quarterbacks of our financial future, and we have to be boldly committed to the process. It begins with a game plan, preparing yourself for success on and off the field. Because when the lights are on, that's when preparation meets opportunity. And the best part about winning is winning as one. Build your tomorrow with Lincoln Financial.
Lincoln Financial is the marketing name for Lincoln National Corporation and affiliates, copyright 2024. Lincoln Financial is a sponsor of Jalen Hurts, who has received compensation.
Welcome to Pond Lehocky, the largest workers' compensation law firm in Pennsylvania. With over 250 years of combined courtroom experience, we've helped over 100,000 injured and disabled workers obtain benefits, as well as some of the biggest settlements in the state. Even better, Pond Lehocky doesn't charge a dime until you win. If you've been injured at work, give Pond Lehocky a call.
Eagles fans, you know about power on the field, but what about your power to choose who supplies your home electricity? When you choose NRG, you'll get a home energy plan that gives you more, like cash back, travel rewards, or charitable contributions. Best of all, switching to NRG is a snap. Visit picknrg.com/Eagles to experience what power should be. NRG, official energy provider of the Philadelphia Eagles.
Where else can you roll the dice, spin the wheels, enjoy a variety of dining options and entertainment in Fishtown? Look no further than Rivers Casino. Take a chance on our $15 table games where the stakes are high and the fun never ends. From blackjack to craps to Spanish 21, we've got something for everyone. So what are you waiting for? Roll into the excitement with $15 table games at Rivers Casino. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
By the time you're finished listening to this Pepsi Zero Sugar, you'll be 15 seconds closer to kickoff. Stock up now. Eagles game day is so close, you can almost taste it. Eagles watching. Better with Pepsi.
This week at Acme, don't miss the playoff special items of the week. Pepperidge Farm Goldfish Crisps are family size and Snack Factory Bites or Pop-Ems for $2.99 each when you buy two. Stop in and discover why football is better at Acme, your tailgating headquarters.
94 WIP HD1 Philadelphia. Sports Radio 94 WIP presents the Eagles Radio Network. The Eagles enter the postseason healthy.
Especially coming back from an injury, he was really shocked today.
Hungry.
Our focus is the next game. Our focus is locked in front of us.
And set for a long playoff run.
Put yourself in position to succeed.
It's Super Wild Card Weekend as the Eagles host the Green Bay Packers. Today's game is sponsored in part by PNC Bank, Jack Daniel's Tennessee Whiskey, PDQ Restaurant Point of Sale Systems, your Delaware Valley Honda dealers, Verizon, and Piazza Auto Group. You're listening to the Verizon Pregame Show on the Eagles Radio Network, presented by PNC Bank. Brilliantly boring since 1865.
Welcome to the Verizon Pregame Show, the Philadelphia Eagles powered by Verizon as we get set for the Eagles and the Packers wild card weekend in the NFL. The Eagles enter as the 2 seed in the NFC playoffs with the hopes of a trip down the line to the Super Bowl alongside Reuben Frank, Eliot Shorr-Parks, Hugh Douglas with his green beard, Ike Reese. I'm Joe Giglio. Here we go, guys. It's playoff time. The Eagles, NFC East champions, and ready for the postseason. Good afternoon, Ike Reese.
Holla at your boy. Hey, Hugh.
There we go.
The beard looks great, brother.
The honorable Hugh Douglas. How about that
looks
green
great,
beard?
brother. Look at that beard.
It really does look good.
Nice, man.
I got to say. Hugh, how we doing?
You're good.
You excited?
Very much so.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can tell.
Well, I'll say this. I bet the defense is giving up under 17 points today. They better after this. Yeah. Elliot, how are we feeling today?
I'm good, man. I'm excited. You know, last year I had to go down to Tampa and watch that team get smoked by the Bucs, and it wasn't a real playoff excitement last year. Being in the city this week, obviously being here, there's already a ton of Eagles fans. This is the most revved up I can remember this fan base in a while because I think there's true belief that today is the start of something special, and they're correct to believe that. This team has a chance to go all the way. They'll play at home today. I think they'll be playing at home next week. It's going to be a really fun month, so I'm excited to get this thing going.
Reuben, Eagles start a playoff run that a lot of people believe is going to end up in New Orleans in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, and this might be the toughest game they play, at least compared to next week. But look, they're the better team. The Eagles have had tough luck in the wild card round, so I think there's a little bit of that kind of dread. Here we are in the wild card round again. Haven't won a home wild card game since 2006.
Damn,
Jeff Garcia.
Wow.
So there's that. But look, they're the better team. They're really sound. They don't have a weak spot on the roster. The Packers are good. Look, it's a tough draw for a 2 seed. It's the toughest draw any 2 seeds ever had, because up until a few years ago they had byes, and since then they've been basically 8-8 teams, 9-8 teams. So a tough draw. Packers are good. Eagles are better.
All right, let's talk about that. Our confidence level today, Ike, and how good the Packers actually are. So there's 2 ways to look at it. Ruben's right. Like, they're an 11-win team. It's probably the best 7 seed since the NFL went here. They won 11 games. They played in the NFL's toughest division.
Yeah.
But they didn't really beat anyone soundly that is any good this year. Their best win is the Texans. That's a good win at home, but they won the game by 2 points. They lost to the Eagles. They lost to the Vikings twice. They lost to the Lions twice.
Yeah.
I think they're a good team. I don't think they're a great football team. I think they're good, and I think their resume is a lot built on what they did last year in this exact round. I think a lot of the fear about the Packers is they did this last year to the Cowboys.
Well, I'll tell you, I look at this game, and I don't know how many people actually fear the Packers. There may be more concerned about a slow start and rustiness with the Eagles than it is you're concerned about the Packers. And that's not to say we should overlook the Packers. The Packers are a good football team. They're 11-6. They could easily be 13-4, right? There are a couple games in there that are close. They could have won if they weren't playing in the NFC North. If they were playing in the NFC South, they may have 2 more wins than they have right now. So I think the Packers are a good football team. Don't get me wrong. But they aren't at their full strength right now. And I'm not going to overlook that. It's unfortunate for Packers fans that their team is just not as healthy as it could be right now. It's up for us as the Eagles, where we seemingly are coming off a bye week, right? Most of our players are pretty much healthy. We're going to have the 22 starters that we presume to have. And this is about the Eagles. And this is no disrespect to the Packers, but this game is about how the Eagles come out and play. If the Eagles get off to a slow start, they're rusty, they're not showing precision or sharpness, then you're going to keep the Packers around. But if the Eagles come out humming, the Eagles have too much talent for the Green Bay Packers right now in this game.
I agree with that. Eliot, your confidence level as we enter the game.
So I think the Packers are just good enough that if the Eagles don't bring one of their better performances, the Packers can make you pay for it. They have talent on offense. They have talent on defense. What they don't have is an A game that can beat the Eagles' A game. I think if both teams play their best football today, the Eagles will win the game. So my concern would be this. AJ didn't practice Wednesday and Thursday. Devontae didn't practice on Friday. Jalen hasn't played in basically a month. So my concern about this game is not Packers related. They have good players, but ultimately they're not a good enough team to beat a quality team like the Eagles. My only concern is how's AJ play? How's Devontae look? And if Jalen is rusty for a half or what, things could be close. So my concern as the week has gone on is more about the Eagles than it is their opponent.
Hugh, you've talked a lot this week about Jalen and potentially a slow start. Well, Hugh, what's your confidence for the game and your thought on Jalen as we get to watch him play basically for the first time? I know he played 4 throws against the Commanders, but first full game we're going to see Jalen in about a month here.
Yeah, like I said before, I think that in this game, I know it's the Green Bay Packers and they could be a formidable opponent, but even if Jalen didn't play, I still felt really confident that they would win. But I think going into this game, the one thing that you can expect is Jalen to come out there looking like the Jalen that we saw before he got hurt in the Commodores game. I don't think that's fair to him. I don't think that's realistic when you look at this offense. I think it's going to start off a little bit sputtery. That's why I feel that in order to have success, you got to get a ball to Saquon Barkley early and then let Jalen work his way back into the game. Start with some short to intermediate passes. Maybe that could help him out to get him going. But I don't expect Jalen to be bombs away as the game starts.
I would also say that I thought there was this bit of a perception that the Eagles were just resting Jalen for a week, that he could have actually cleared the protocol earlier if he wanted, but they were holding him out. Rube, I don't know if you agree, but the sense I got when Jalen talked this week was he was legitimately in that concussion protocol for the full time. Like, he got out when he could get out. So he's cleared to play today. He's out there. So, to a certain degree, you put it behind you. But I don't think this has been an easy last 2 weeks for Jalen.
Yeah, no question about it. It's a little bit of a concern when you look at the offense and what Devontae and AJ are going through and Jalen's just been through.
But these guys have played so much football together. I think they'll be okay. AJ kind of sounded a little alarmist when we talked to him earlier in the week. I think he might need surgery when all is said and done after the season. But look, he's a warrior. He's going to go out there and make plays, and so is Devontae, and I would expect Jalen to do the same.
Well, to me, I look at this way, guys. They're, like you said it, they're banged up, the Packers. They lost Christian Watson, their best deep threat. They lost Jair Alexander, their best corner. And the Eagles have 6 All-Pros. They have 1. I just feel like the Eagles, if they play a clean game, have the better roster. They're the better team. They won 4. The Eagles have lost 1 game since September.
Yeah.
And that game, their quarterback got knocked out of. If the Eagles play a good football game today, I expect them to beat this Packers team.
The one concern I have is that Packers running game. And since BG got hurt, the Eagles have been not so great against the run. That's my only concern. They run the ball really well. Eagles have to they missed 10 tackles in that first game. They got to clean that up. I think they will. Certainly that's if the Packers are going to win this game, they're going to run for, they're going to do what the Ravens did yesterday and just control the game on the ground. So Eagles have to be tighter than they have been against the run.
Yeah. I mean, I like that as a key to the game. I look at this game and I say the Eagles need to do what got them to where they are right now. That 10-game winning streak was about their running game and their defense. Mm-hmm. That's what it was about. They're going to play good defense today. They're going to get after Jordan Love. They're going to put him in a situation where he's trying to make plays with his arms. And I like our secondary going up against Jordan Love and his receiving core today. But the Eagles on offense, and there's no mystery to this. We talk about Jalen because we haven't watched him in the last month and everybody focuses on that passing game. This offense is about pound town. This offense is about Saquon running the football and giving him opportunities to make plays. He's the best offensive player. He's the most healthy offensive player they have. Give the ball to Saquon, play good defense. We move on to the second round.
Run the ball.
And he's rested at this point. I would have gone for the record, but they didn't. And the result is, talking to Saquon this week, he feels great going into the playoffs. You can tell how excited he is to go into the playoffs with a legitimate chance to win something. Everyone knew that Giants team wasn't going to win anything. That was just, when they went in the playoffs, that was a fun thing for them. Saquon seems extremely amped up for this game. I also don't think it's worth noting. Derrick Henry had 155 last night, something like that. Saquon saw that. The offensive line.
He's got more yards than Saquon now.
Yeah, so I think it's going to be a big time Saquon game today.
They are tough to run against. They're third in the league in run defense, allow about 3.96 per carry. So it could be one of those games where the yards are tough early and that O-line's going to wear down Green Bay.
I agree, but I just never get concerned about a good run defense because I've seen this Eagles offensive line run against literally everybody. Whenever they play a top-ranked run defense, not the Browns, true. That's the one time. But the Browns aren't here today. So every time they play every time they play the number 1 ranked run defense, it feels like they have a great game or one of the best ones. So I'm not concerned about their ability to run the ball.
Well, he's on top of the amped up Saquon after watching Henry last night. This is the first game that Saquon's ever played in a playoff game in front of a home crowd.
Yep.
Yeah.
His one playoff trip, they were on the road, and obviously they came here in the second round. So I could just imagine how amped up Saquon Barkley's going to be today.
He said earlier this week, how much more crazy can the crowd get? We've had Monday night, the game's Thursday night. He has no idea what he's walking into today. Yeah, it's going to be crazy in the link today.
No, there's no doubt about that. All right, on the other side, we'll talk more about the quarterback, both quarterbacks in this game, because both of them are coming off injuries. Both of them are coming off years where they were probably more good than great. How great are they going to be today? We'll discuss it. This is the Eagles Radio Network presented by PNC Bank. Brilliantly boring since 1865 on 94 WIP.
Are you tailgating yet? Stop by the WIP Toyota Tailgate Show next to the Wells Fargo Center to check out Toyota vehicles and get some swag. Thanks to your local Tri-State Toyota dealers, proud partner of the Eagles. Toyota, official automotive partner of the NFL.
Hi, this is Merrill Reese. My wife Cindy and I had a new roof installed by Impriano Roofing, Siding, and Windows, and we're delighted. When it comes to your roof, good planning is essential. Jack Impriano and his 4 sons are a true family business, serving our area for over 5 decades, using only the best CertainTeed products. If you need a new roof, call Jack Impriano Roofing. Online at impriano.com. It's good to hire Jack and his team. Remember, the best homes have an Impriano roof.
Just like our offensive line protects our star quarterback, plumbers protect the health of the nation. And Philadelphia Plumbers Union Local 690 is no different. In hospitals, commercial, industrial, and residential, with the best trained plumbers in the world, you can be sure your project is done on time and on budget, no matter how big or small. So when your business needs to build new or expand existing facilities, you can count on the members of Plumbers Union Local 690. Visit plumbers690.org.
The working families of Long and Labor's District Council of Pennsylvania, D.C., Maryland, and Virginia are proud contributors to all aspects of growth in this great city. The Labor's District Council provides safe, well-trained, productive workers who enable projects to be done on time and under budget. We appreciate our signatory contractors and their commitment to fairness and equality. Laborers, we're building a better future today.
Brought to you by the Laborers District Council Licit Fund.
Benefits, HR, hiring, payroll, it's also complicated, but it doesn't have to be. Hi, I'm Joe Carfagno from Clear Employer Services, and we can expertly handle benefits, HR, hiring, and payroll for your small business. You don't have to wing it. Let me take the headache out of HR. No time for payroll? HRuncomplicated.com. New medical plans, new talent? HRuncomplicated.com. Let Clear Employer Services show you how to make HR uncomplicated so you can go back to running your business.
Preferred vendor of Independence Blue Cross. Visit HRuncomplicated.com.
It's a long season, but one thing is sure, Birds football is sure to make your heart skip a beat. But that flutter you feel in your chest could also be something else, like AFib, atrial fibrillation, a serious heart condition that needs expert care from an all-pro team like Deborah Heart and Lung Center. One thing is certain, all season long, Team Green is sure to make your heart flutter, maybe even skip a beat now and then. Just remember, when it's your heart, you don't take chances. DemandDeborah.org. Go Birds.
Operating engineers are the men and women that move mountains. And the Engineers Labor Employer Cooperative, ELEC, puts them to work. They create opportunities for the men, women, and union signatory contractors of Local 825, repaving our roads, keeping our homes bright and warm, and even building our favorite team stadium. We understand infrastructure. That's why ELEC and Local 825 are ready to get to work.
Know what's below, because even minor excavation projects like installing a mailbox, building a patio, or putting up a fence can do major damage. Contact 811 before you dig, or visit pa1call.org to submit a locate request to have underground utilities marked.
We are all quarterbacks of our financial future, and we have to be boldly committed to the process. It begins with a game plan, preparing yourself for success on and off the field. Not just thinking about short-term wins, but long-term goals. And the best part about winning is winning as one. Build your tomorrow with Lincoln Financial.
Lincoln Financial is the marketing name for Lincoln National Corporation and affiliates, copyright 2024. Lincoln Financial is a sponsor of Jalen Hurts, who has received compensation.
Bird Gang Spirits is made for the true Philly fans, the pre-gamers, tailgaters, dieharders, and lifelongers. Now you can raise a glass to number 25 himself, Eagles legend LaShawn Shady McCoy, with their new, very limited edition Bird Gang Shady Bourbon Whiskey. Crafted to honor Shady's induction into the Eagles Hall of Fame, this special release is the spirit of Philly pride in every pour. Pre-order now to reserve a bottle or two of LaShawn Shady McCoy's Bird Gang Kentucky Bourbon at BOTLD.com. Please drink responsibly. You're listening to the Verizon Pregame Show on the Eagles Radio Network.
Welcome back to the Verizon Pregame Show. The Philadelphia Eagles powered by Verizon as we get set for the Eagles and the Packers. 4:30 today for the right to move on to the division round. All right, guys, let's talk about the player to watch. In my mind, there's a couple, one on each side. The player to watch, sponsored by the Bricklayers and Allied Craft Workers, Local 1 of Pennsylvania and Delaware, now hiring bricklayers, stonemasons, and rubble masons. Visit BAC-1.org to apply today. All right, let's start with Eagles quarterback Jalen Hurts and really what we expect today and how they're going to use him today off of the concussion. So let's start with how quickly do we think he's going to play his normal football? It's been a while, right? He just hasn't played in a while, and he didn't get to practice much because he was in concussion protocol. Do you think this is going to take some time to get him in a rhythm, or are we overblowing that and just go play football?
No, I think it's real. I think, the message that has been put out there is more or less business as usual, right? He's healthy, so we're going to go about business as usual. And I think that's being optimistic, and I'm okay with the message coming out of the building being that way. But just me going into a game and what I would expect a little bit of rust. I would expect a little bit of adjustment period needing to get back used to game speed, seeing things at game speed, digesting information at a fast pace, and then getting the ball out of your hands. Like all those things, I don't think you just flip a switch and all of a sudden you're back on the field clicking as if you never left. I just don't believe in that. So it'll depend on the type of game plan they put together. If they get him some easy throws, some bootlegs, some rollouts, some things that are to the half side of the field where he just get the ball out of his hands quick, that can help out. But a lot of it depends on what the Packers defense is showing Jalen early also.
Eliot, where are you at with the potential for rust here to start this thing off?
I definitely think they're going to coach him and call the plays as if he's normal. I don't think they're going to be afraid to run him. I think they're going to do the tush push. So they'll go into this game with a normal type game plan for him. I think the one positive thing with Jalen in terms of a slow start, they start slow all the time. So it's not like this isn't something they're used to.
That's a very fair point. It's not like they're scoring.
They hadn't started slow the last
Yeah, you're right.
weeks.
They've been getting better.
Well, and his best game was the last full game we watched him play, and they started off hot.
And the Packers, for what it's worth, are third in the league in points in the first quarter. So they are a fast-starting team. The one benefit, I think, with Jalen's game specifically is he's not really like an anticipation, throw a guy open thrower. So he really only throws it when he sees the guy is open. And so I think in today's game where you're right, Ike, the speed of the game will probably feel fast at first. He hasn't played in a while. He's just not someone that takes chances with the ball. So I think early on they are going to try to get him to throw it, because I think the Packers are going to play the run really, really close. So they're going to want him to throw it. But just get him some easy throws, get it across the middle. I think he'll be good today.
All right, Ruben, Eliot said something there. There was a report this morning, ESPN, Adam Schefter said all systems go, tush pushes and everything. Eagles aren't going to hold back off the concussion. Ruben, where do you come down on how the Eagles use Jalen today? How much running? Because I know they're trying. This is a playoff game. It's do or die. But if it was me, I would not be calling runs for him through the tackles. If he scrambles on his own, he scrambles on his own. But I can't have him back in the blue tent in the first quarter of this game. It means too much.
Well, Tanner McKee's always one play away. But no, I think that you can't go into this tentative. You got to go in aggressive despite what he's just been through. Because if the Packers know, if they sense that you're tentative here and we're not going to throw deep or we're not going to run Jalen, we're not going to run our offense the way we normally do, they'll pounce on you. They'll eat you alive. So I think you got to do the things that you normally do offensively. And I think Kellen understands that, Kellen Moore. And I think they will be aggressive early. That's kind of how they got out of that rut where they weren't scoring in the first quarter. So, yeah, I don't think you can go in here trying to protect Jalen or trying to baby him. I think you got to run the offense.
Hey, what's the point of playing him if you're not going to run him? I mean, he has a lot of good qualities as a quarterback. I think one of the top two is the pressure he puts on defenses with his legs. If you're not going to run him, I agree, don't put him through the middle. You don't have to be, arrogant with it. But, I would run him. That's what he's really good at. He's had great games running the ball against the Packers. I'm not coaching tentative today with him.
Yeah, I disagree with all that. All right, I just do. I don't no one has ever gone into a game and said we need Jalen to run for us to win. So this idea today that we need to prove that we're all systems go by putting our quarterback in harm's way and we're balls to the wall. Let me finish. I'll let you go. I don't feel the need to prove that today. They've won games with Jalen throwing the ball 15 times, 18 times, and not being cute. I don't need to go out there and prove how healthy Jalen Hurts is. Jalen Hurts has never been the driving force for the 2024 Eagles to be a winning team. It's been Saquon Barkley, that offensive line, and that defense. I don't need today's game plan to be about Jalen Hurts.
Hugh,
I really don't.
Hugh, you had an interesting perspective this week. What the Packers defense might be thinking if Jalen is running the football a lot.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to hurt him. Flat out. That's
if you're a defense, that's what you're doing
within the realm of the game. It's not being dirty. It's just that like we used to always say, you cut the head of the snake off, the snake dies. Jalen is the head of the snake. And if you're gonna put Jalen, if you're gonna make a point, if you're gonna go out there and try to make a statement, and let Jalen run the ball more so than he's done all year long, then I'm gonna try to take Jalen's head off. Plain and simple.
I can just speak for myself. 2 years ago when they played the Giants, his first game back off the shoulder injury, he didn't run it as much. And the one time he ran it, I was like, my heart was like pounding. Like, is his shoulder hurt? If he runs today and he hits the ground a weird way, the first thing I'm going to think of is, are they making him go to the blue tent? Like, it's not so much like bravado. My shoulder can play through pain. If he hits the ground hard, they may say he's out of the game.
But then then don't play him today. Like, if you're going to
go
play
him differently,
no, because look, it's not about making a statement. It's not about coming out and saying, look what we can do with Jalen. It's about doing what's best for the offense. Jalen's legs have been a really big part of the offense.
The ball to Saquon.
Right,
let me say this.
But him running it helps Saquon.
Throw quick passes to A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith. I don't need Jalen Hurts to run for me to beat the Green Bay Packers today.
The fact that Jalen's going to be on the field, that's intangible right there. Anyway, like, as a defender, I know that I have to rush a certain way because I know that regardless if he does it or not, he has the ability to take off and run for a first down. If I'm a corner, knowing that if they run us off, there's a good chance that Jalen might pull the ball down and run. The fact that he's on the field today changes the whole dynamic of how the Green Bay Packers are going to attack the Philadelphia Eagles.
Listen, we know he's going to run. Nobody's saying he's not going to run.
It's part of his game.
What I'm saying is, as an offensive coordinator, I can control how much I put him in harm's way by how many designed quarterback runs I dial up. I understand there's going to be a handful of runs he takes off on passing plays, and I had to expect him to be smart and get down. That's the other thing. I need him to protect himself when he takes off. When you run in between the tackles, you are giving the defense free shots on your quarterback. You just are. And the Eagles don't need Jalen Hurts to run the ball to be a good football team.
So I'm fine with if you don't want to run in between the tackles. But Jalen's run for more first downs this year than any other quarterback in the NFL. It's not just about –
how many on design runs?
I don't know on design, but I know a lot of them were also on 3 and 3rd and 5 and longer. So even on long thirds downs, he's converted. And Hugh, I agree with you. The fact he's out there is enough, but it's not just the threat of him. He has kept so many drives alive this year with his legs. So do I want him barreling up the middle of the line? No, fine. You can stay away from that. But I don't want him out there thinking about this. Like, if he needs to push through for a first down, I want him pushing through for that first down. I don't want him going down 2 yards before the defender.
Well,
he
needs
to go out there.
He's going to do that inherently. But all I'm saying is that's us trusting him to be smart with the football when he does take off. I'm talking about things that are quarterback designed, play calls, and the chances that you put him in harm's way. That's all I'm saying. He's going to run. We know he's going to run today. That's not the point. It's about when he does get out in the open field, does he protect himself? And it's the same thing as watching Joel Embiid. I don't need Joel Embiid diving in the stands in the first quarter of a game. Like, it's so there is a such thing of being smart when you're out there. And you know what? If you had to give up getting the first down in the first quarter as opposed to taking on a defender, I'm okay with that. This Packer team can only beat the Eagles as if Jalen Hurts is not on the field.
So I think they could, if Kenny went in or Tanner McKee, they could still win this game. But there's no question Jalen's the best option. Jalen's the best option.
And he's not available next week.
Because you have to play the game the way
you're
they
not
have
playing
all
the
year.
Green Bay Packers.
But you have.
I think they called too many called runs for Jalen anyway before he got hurt. So yeah,
and that may have led to what happened. We all believe that he may have got dinged up several games before the one he actually got concussed in.
It's possible.
Yeah, I can't go out there with Jalen and be thinking about the concussion. I can't. Like, if you're gonna play him today, you have to play him the way he has all year.
Super Bowl, you need to.
Yeah, exactly. You're trying to win a Super Bowl, so go out there and run him the way that he has this year.
You don't have to do it.
Well, the bottom line is they need to win 4 games to win a Super Bowl, not 1. I mean, that today is today. They gotta win 4. His health is paramount to all this. All right, coming up on the other side, we will look at the state of the race for the Lombardi. The 2 playoff games in the books, 1 going on right now, 2 more NFC to come tonight and tomorrow. Who do we want to play if there's a next week? We'll discuss it. The Eagles Radio Network presented by PNC Bank. Brilliantly boring since 1865 on 94 WIP.
PNC Private Bank knows that anything can happen on the gridiron, and being prepared goes a long way. It's not so different with your wealth. Having a dedicated local team of specialized advisors who take a calculated, disciplined approach to managing your wealth leads to a lot of wins. The PNC Private Bank team knows that just like in football, that kind of preparation is good for your financial game. PNC Bank, brilliantly boring since 1865. PNC Bank, National Association, member FDIC.
Start the new year by making a statement in your home with beautiful, high-quality furniture from Bucks County Estate Traders. Each one of their 16,000 pieces is meticulously cared for and inspected before being displayed. Many pieces are even reupholstered by their talented team of craftsmen. You can furnish every room in your home with one trip to Bucks County Estate Traders. Their team of knowledgeable professionals provides a relaxed and rewarding experience. Visit buckscountyestatetraders.com or their showroom in Hatfield.
Jack Daniels, tailgating, and the birds. It doesn't get any better. So stop by your local PA Fine Wine and Good Spirits store and stock up for the game with the original Jack Daniels Tennessee Whiskey, along with Jack Daniels Fire and Jack Daniels Honey. Or grab a case of Jack and Coke or Jack and Coke Zero Sugar, now ready to drink in a can. Jack Daniels, born for the tailgate. Whiskey specialty, 7% ABV. Jack Daniels Distillery, Lynchburg, Tennessee. Jack Daniels and Old Number 7 are registered trademarks of Jack Daniels Properties, Inc. Coca-Cola is a trademark of the Coca-Cola Company.
Virtua Health, real patients, real doctors, real complex cases. Take one.
I received a kidney transplant at Virtua Health.
Transplants are some of the most complex procedures in medicine.
I thank them for keeping me alive.
We are the only transplant center in South Jersey.
And Virtua is one of the best centers in the country for minimally invasive orthopedic surgery.
I had the hip replacement of the future. I'm back, baby.
Want to follow our stories? Go to virtua.org. Virtua Health, here for good.
Buy, trade, or upgrade this month at Colonial Hyundai. Now is the perfect time to trade in your vehicle and get into a reliable, affordable new 2024 Hyundai with some of the best incentives of the year. Upgrade to a brand new Elantra, Kona, Tucson, or Santa Fe. You can buy with 0% financing for 60 months only at Colonial Hyundai. Even if you're driving a hoopty, Colonial will give you $6,500 for your trade, no matter the condition. Guaranteed. ColonialHyundai.com.
Offers cannot be combined. See store for full details. 0.0% on new 2024 Ioniq 5 on credit approval from HNF USA. Offer ends January 31st, 2020.
Miss Jill Scott here, partnering with Pico, the team that powers what matters to my hometown and yours. They're connected to our communities because they live, work, and play here too. You can find Pico volunteering in our neighborhoods, embracing clean energy, partnering with local nonprofits like mine, and working around the clock to make sure the lights are on and the natural gas is flowing. And through it all, they're here to make sure we're all shining together. Learn more at pico.com/shine.
E.D. Moyer Lumber is your window expert. Anderson 400 series are the clad wood windows more contractors trust for their own homes. Contractors love them because they're easy to install, time-tested, and are the windows with fewer callbacks. Homeowners love their superior design with styles that bring their unique vision to life. Based on a 2022 Anderson brand survey of U.S. contractors, your Anderson expert is A.D. Moyer Lumber in Gilbertsville, Pottstown, Bethlehem, and Kutztown, and on the web at admoyer.com.
Check it out, the new iPhone 16 Pro with Apple Intelligence and camera control for easy access. At Verizon, you can get it when you trade in any phone from one of their top brands.
Any?
Any.
Even if it's 4 years old?
Yeah.
Even if it's 4 years old and I drop it on the sidewalk?
Yep.
Even if it's 4 years old and I drop it on the sidewalk, then a scooter runs it over, so now it's not just old and cracked, but shattered?
With Verizon, the answer is always yes. New and existing customers can trade in any phone from one of our top brands in any condition for the new iPhone 16 Pro with Unlimited Ultimate. Trade-in terms apply. See Verizon.com for details.
Pennsylvanians are creating their own soundtrack thanks to PA Lottery Scratch Off's Excitement's back. Pennies, nickels, dimes, or quarters, no matter your choice, scratching's always in order. With big top prizes and second chance drawings, thrills await. They're out there calling if it's excitement you seek and you're looking for action, play the PA Lottery. And keep on scratching. Must be 18 or older. Please play responsibly. Benefits older Pennsylvanians every day.
This is the Verizon Pregame Show on Eagles Radio.
Welcome back to the Verizon Pregame Show. The Philadelphia Eagles, powered by Verizon. Hugh Douglas, Eliot, Shorr-Parks, Ike Reese, Joe Giglio. We got a lot coming up here. Dave Spadera will join us in a little bit as we go over inactives for the Eagles and Packers game. Devin Caney, our sideline reporter, will join us in a little bit. Eric Allen's going to be with us up here on the stage at 3 o'clock as EA tries to make the Hall of Fame this year. He's one of the final 15 Right now, though, let's dive into the state of the race as the race of Lombardi is on.
The race.
All right, what's on the menu? Sponsored by Hatfield. Put pork on your fork. Visit simplyhatfield.com for game day recipe inspiration. All right, guys, let's give some thoughts early on the playoff games we've seen yesterday, and now obviously there's one going on right now. Yesterday, you got the Texans who beat the Chargers, Ike, and then last night we saw a team lean on what they did well all year with the Ravens, run the football with Henry and Lamar, and they just ran the Steelers out of the building.
Yeah, that first game, Texans-Chargers, man.
That stunk.
I mean, seriously, Justin Herbert. Come on, man. We've been waiting for all that talent that you have to come to fruition in the postseason. And to lose to a Texans team, even though it was in their building, right, that's an undermanned team. They're not at full strength. And to play the way that he played, that's what I take away from that first game. Nice job by Houston. You know, D'Amico Ryans, I'm always rooting for him. Glad they won the game. But, man, I come away from that game thinking Justin Herbert may not be as good as some of us think that he is. And then last night, Baltimore, I don't know how Baltimore is not going to be in the Super Bowl. And I know Kansas City has home field advantage. Love Big Red. But, man, Lamar Jackson, you know, John Harbaugh has made 2 proclamations. One was on our show the year before Lamar Jackson won his first MVP. Me and John Marks was doing an interview with John Harbaugh when the Eagles and the Ravens were having a joint practice. And I wasn't very high on Lamar Jackson coming out. And I had to express that to Coach, as uncomfortable as it was. And that's my old coach. He looked me in my eye and told me, well, you're dead wrong.
Good call by him.
Yep.
And he was right. Wow.
Looked me dead in my eye, told me I was dead wrong, told me how great Lamar Jackson was going to be and how much he believed in it. He went on to win the MVP that year. So this offseason and then training camp, Coach Harbaugh made another proclamation. Didn't get a lot of headlines, but I heard him. He said Lamar Jackson is the best quarterback in football. And he spoke about him in historical sort of that's how he spoke about him, about how great he is from a historical thing. And that was coming off a mediocre year in which he won the MVP. And Lamar Jackson this year, man.
41 touchdowns, 4 picks, 900 rushing yards. He was unreal.
He's made me a believer. So he's made me. And can you believe that the Eagles actually gave the Ravens Lamar Jackson?
I know. They traded the last pick in the round after they won the Super Bowl.
Yes.
They traded out, and the Ravens used it on Lamar.
Yes.
Yeah, I thought the other thing about
Ozzie Newsome's last first-round pick. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say the other thing about yesterday is I think it should make Eagles fans feel more confident about their team chances of going to the Super Bowl. Because let's look at those 2 games. The first game, Herbert was throwing the ball all over the place. What do you have? 4 interceptions in yesterday's game?
Only 3 all season and then 4 in the playoff
And
game.
look, some of them were bad luck, but he was reckless with the ball. Jalen is not reckless with the ball. Even C.J. Stroud didn't have a great game in terms of protecting the ball. So that first game just hammered home. If you have a quarterback that takes care of the ball, you'll do well in the playoffs. So that was encouraging. But the second game, the way the Ravens win is exactly how the Eagles win, but with a better defense. So Lamar last night, I agree with you. Like, he was the story of that game in a lot of ways. He was awesome. Some of the plays he made where he stayed in the pocket, maneuvered guys, still threw the ball. But what did he end up with? 175 yards passing? It's not much different than how we see Jalen win week after week after week. So, yeah.
Which is why I never have a problem with it.
I agree. It's always been about –
I don't have a problem when Jalen throws for 185 and rushes for 60, 70 yards.
And that's why this week there was a lot of talk, does Jalen have to be great in the playoffs? I think Jalen has been great this year. Like, statistically, his passing numbers might not be quote-unquote great, but when they've needed him to be great this year, for the most part, he's always been great. And that's what Lamar was last night.
I think you know great when you see it. Lamar was great last night. I don't need him to
right,
throw
you don't
for
have to look
300.
at
Right.
Derrick Henry had an awesome game. I mean, the Eagles could win in a very similar fashion today to the Ravens.
All right. The difference is Jalen doesn't have
he's not Lamar. I agree.
Lamar Jackson.
Yeah, I agree, but he has shown that if you can run the ball and play defense, Jalen will not throw the ball away.
All right, so we have a game going on right now. It's 10-7 at half, Buffalo and Denver. So we'll see what happens there. Close game. What do we think tonight, Hugh Douglas? We get the Commanders and the Bucks, and the outcome of tonight, Hugh, will determine who the Eagles will play, assuming they win today against the Packers. If the Commanders win, we're getting the winner of tomorrow's game between the Vikings and the Rams. If the Bucks win, we get the Bucks. Hugh, what are you thinking tonight? Commanders, Bucks.
I'm telling you, man, I'm all the Commander fans that are in my DMs. I got friends that are Commodore fans. I hope they get the brakes beat off of them tonight, man. I really, really do. Hate that team.
Wow. Thought you was cool with B. Mitch.
No, I mean, I'm cool with B. Mitch. Yeah. He ain't the one I'm talking about. I got some other friends that they become Commodore fans, and they like to send me memes and videos of how well they're doing. So, yeah, I hope they get the brakes beat off them tonight.
They haven't been relevant in a while, so they're excited right now.
Guys, I think the Bucks are on upset alert tonight. I think Washington can win that game.
No doubt.
I think Washington.
I took Washington plus the points.
Me too.
I know that, but I'm just hating.
Well, the Bucks, I don't know where you guys fall on it, but the Bucks on one hand, you go, that's who you don't want to see come here next week. Jalen has really struggled against them. They'd be playing with house money. They wouldn't be expected to win. They have talent on offense. The flip side of that is every time they played the Bucks, it felt like it's been in Tampa, and they haven't had AJ. So getting them here next week with AJ, I mean, I think the Eagles will win that game, but the Bucks could be a tough one.
I needed to be colder than this, though.
For the Bucks,
it's going to be the same.
This feels like spring.
I agree. Next week's supposed to be the same as of now.
So of the three opponents next week, is there any you don't want to see, any you do want to see? So the three possible opponents next Sunday, if the Eagles win today: Bucks, Rams, Vikings.
I hate to say who I prefer to see because that's who we'll wind up playing and losing. Yeah. But if I'm looking at the three, give me the Rams.
The Eagles took them apart in November in Los Angeles.
Give me the Rams of those three.
Which is crazy because they're the ones that have won a Super Bowl. You know, like
McVay.
But I agree with you. Look, the Rams here in the cold, or colder, I should say, than it is in L.A. And also Matthew Stafford, he can't really move in the pocket that well. I think the defensive line could get after Stafford. But I also think next week's game will be easier than this game. If they can get through this one, I think next week's game is an easier opponent. I think they'll beat that.
Could be. The Vikings, though, I'll say it. I'd like to not see the Vikings next week.
Right. Yeah.
Give me the Bucks or the Rams.
I mean, the Vikings are kind of fraudulent, though. I mean, the biggest game they had this year was that Detroit game, and I'm blanking on his name right now. Darnold completely no-showed in that game. He missed all types of throws. The Vikings consistently are good up until the end of regular season. Then they blow it in the playoffs. I mean, the Giants team Saquon was on beat the Vikings in the playoffs.
That's true.
So I agree with you. They're the best team, and their defense would concern me, especially with Flores. But they have a pretty long history of choking.
They do, but that coaching staff's good with O'Connell and Flores. I think it'd be a challenge next week. We'll see how it plays out the rest of the day and tomorrow. All right, up next, Dave Spadero will join us. We'll talk inactives, the plan for today. This is the Eagles Radio Network, presented by PNC Bank. Brilliantly boring since 1865 on 94 WIP.
Here are the top questions from homeowners in the new year. Can my roof survive another winter? And can my bank account survive if my roof doesn't? Trust PJ Fitzpatrick for the answer. Roofing done right the first time and roofing priced like it was last year. That's right. To keep their crews working this winter, PJ Fitzpatrick will set all prices back a year and guarantee your estimate for all of 2025. Plus, they guarantee their work for the life of your roof. Visit trustpj.com to schedule your free consultation and price lock guarantee.
Hey, Joe DeCamera here to tell you why Family and Company Jewelers on Route 70 in Marlton, New Jersey is South Jersey's diamond destination and your trusted jeweler for quality, service, and price. You can choose from the largest selection of engagement rings in the area, or you can have their master jewelers create a custom one-of-a-kind ring just for your special day. Visit their showroom or shop online at familyjewelers.com. That's familyjewelers.com. Family and Company Jewelers, South Jersey's diamond destination.
At this point, Jack Dell figures he might as well whip it out. The big deal reveal at Dell Toyota. And with the Dell Vehicle Exchange Program, you can get out of your current car or truck and slip into a new one, all while keeping your payments the same, or maybe even make them less. Right now, you can buy with no money down and 0% financing every day. Dell Toyota is close on Route 30 in Thorndale. If you're worried you're going to pay too much for your next car, you don't know Jack. Se habla español.
Jack, sell them for less. Birds fans, are you ready for the game? Just like a winning team needs a solid foundation, so does your home. That's why you need Groundworks in your playbook. Philadelphia's experts in basement waterproofing, foundations, and crawl space repair. Groundworks' team of dedicated professionals is here to tackle all challenges. Whether it's water in the basement, sagging floors, smells in your crawl space, or sticky windows and doors, Groundworks is here to protect your home for every game day and beyond. Book your free inspection today at groundworks.com.
A strong lineup can make a good football team great. The stuff of champions. At Deborah Heart and Lung Center, our lineup is deep. cardiologists to cardiothoracic surgeons, electrophysiology to heart failure specialists, and everywhere in between. Offense, defense, and special teams. That's why Deborah is one of the premier heart hospitals in the country, right here in South Jersey. Remember, when it's your heart, you don't take chances. DemandDeborah.org.
Hi, Philadelphia. I'm Tom Redden, Financial Secretary Treasurer for Steamfitters Local Union 420, a proud 121-year-old labor organization who provides the safest and most well-trained steamfitters, welders, and HVAC service technicians in southeastern Pennsylvania. If you are looking to build or service in the healthcare, nuclear, pharmaceutical, life science, chemical, or residential field, then look no further than Steamfitters Local Union 420. To learn more, please visit our website at lu420.com. Go Birds!
Roto-Rooter. Plumbing problem? No match for a little DIY duct tape. Shoot, hold on. Nope. There we go. No match for a little... dang it, wait. Duct tape and a wrench. Leaks are no match for duct tape and a wrench. And a bucket and a towel, more duct tape, a hammer, this random tool I found in the basement, another bucket, more tape, a little more tape. Perfect. On second thought, maybe leave plumbing to the pros at Roto-Rooter.
And away go troubles down the drain.
This week at Acme, don't miss the digital deal for 80% lean ground beef value pack for $2.99 per pound. Clip these deals and unlock hundreds more when you sign up for Acme For You. Visit acmemarkets.com/foryou or download the Acme mobile app to sign up and save today.
There are lessons to be learned every day, and every day is an opportunity to find our purpose. It begins with a game plan, not just thinking about short-term wins, but long-term goals. We are all quarterbacks of our financial future, and we have to be boldly committed to the process. Because when the lights are on, that's when preparation meets opportunity. Build your tomorrow at LincolnFinancial.com.
Lincoln Financial is the marketing name for Lincoln National Corporation and affiliates, copyright 2024. Lincoln Financial is a sponsor of Jalen Hurts, who has received compensation.
This week at Acme, don't miss the playoff special items of the week. Pepperidge Farm Goldfish Crisps are family size and Snack Factory Bites or Pop-Ems for $2.99 each when you buy two. Stop in and discover why football is better at Acme, your tailgating headquarters.
You're listening to the Verizon Pregame Show on the Eagles Radio Network.
Welcome back to the Verizon Pregame Show. The Philadelphia Eagles powered by Verizon. Eliot, Shorr-Parks, Ike Reese, Hugh Douglas, Joe Gillian, joined right now by Dave Spadaro here. Dave, how we doing?
I'm great. I was thinking, what would this is a great question. If you were the Green Bay Packers and you're going up against the number one defense in the NFL, how would you attack the Philadelphia Eagles?
Run right at them.
See, I don't know if I would. I think I might do with Tampa Bay.
Yeah, I would dink and dunk them down the field.
Well, you talking about the short intermediate, but I think that worked early on because the way that our corners played, they played off. They gave them like 5 or 6 yards, sometimes 10-yard cushion during the course of the game, and I don't think that has been the case since that game.
And the other thing is Jordan Love is not an accurate thrower. He's like 28th in the league in on-target throws. He's pretty inconsistent. So to dink and dunk down the field, you have to have a quarterback that can consistently hit guys, and Baker's good at that. I don't think that's Jordan Love's strength.
It's interesting watching Love, Eliot. It's a good point because he doesn't take sacks, second best sack rate in the league. He doesn't throw picks. He hasn't thrown one in weeks. But you're right. He also is inaccurate. I think his completion percentage is what, like 63%? It's not. And it's not that high.
He's also not great. He doesn't get sacked, but he's not great with pressure. He throws off his back foot a lot. Like he will drift back in the pocket. So I know he doesn't throw a lot of interceptions, but I do think the Eagles have a shot to get 1 or 2 today because he will put the ball in harm's way if you get pressure on him.
All right, so if you run at them, okay, Hugh, are you scoring points if you're running at them?
Well, I think this is how I think the game plan is going to go because we are on a consensus that Green Bay probably can't throw the ball down the field with the quarterback being hurt and him not having his number one receiver.
Yeah, without Chris.
You actually think Jordan Love is hurt?
Wait. Do I think his elbow is hurt? Yes. Yeah. You mean, yeah, I think he's hurt. I don't think
you think it's something that will impact his performance today. I think it's a bunch of gamesmanship.
You think so?
Yeah, I do.
I don't know, man.
Well, he did leave the game last week.
Yeah,
but they didn't win. They didn't need to win.
You talk about when he got hit on the funny bone, and they're talking about his ulnar nerve or whatever nerve he hurt.
Well, his finger looked pretty jacked up too.
Yeah. So to answer your question,
Spurs not buying it.
I'm not buying it.
But conspiracy theory, Spadaro. I think this happens. I think
Green Bay's trying to play. Are y'all gonna let me finish my point, or you just gonna talk over me?
Go ahead, man.
No, you got it.
No, you got the green beard.
No, but what I was saying is this. Even with all of that being said, you want to try to keep this game close. You want to keep because this offense of the Eagles is too high powered. If you let this game get away from you, you don't have a chance to win. We all are in agreement that the best chance for this team to win is if they try to keep it close, correct?
Yes.
So I'm going to try to keep it as close as I possibly can. I'm going to run the ball. I'm going to deke and dunk down the field, and I'm going to put my defense out there and see if they can be opportunistic if I'm Green Bay. Because I can't be in a track meet with this Philadelphia Eagles offense knowing that if Jalen gets going, it might be a long day for me.
All right, well, then with that, let's hit the power player of the game, sponsored by IBEW Local Union 98 in partnership with Nika Pendel. Jersey, they're proud to power progress in Philadelphia. All right, so look, they might run it a lot. They might dink and dunk. To me, the player of the game on the defense here is going to be Jalen Carter. He's had a great season. I need him to be ready to dominate the postseason now. This is when you go from being, all right, you're one of the best players in the league to, oh, you're a superstar. You dominate a game like this. I need him to play great today.
Yeah, listen, he garnered all-pro awards this year, deservingly so. He played at an all-pro level. But you're right, when you get to the postseason, this is where those players stand out. And if I look at the Green Bay Packers, their best chance of winning, in my opinion, is Josh Jacobs.
Yep.
Right? So you put the game in Josh Jacobs' hands and you try to shorten the game. And so with that being said, if I'm the Eagles defense, it starts up front. Jalen Carter, that defensive line, dominating the line of scrimmage and allowing the linebackers to get downhill and tackle Josh Jacobs. We didn't tackle well in that first game against the Packers. We're a much better tackling team now. But it starts up front with 98, and he sets the tone. He has a nasty disposition in which he likes to play with. I love it. Go right up to that line, push it, and then be able to dial it down. But this is the postseason. This is where your best players step up. And this is where Jalen Carter, I believe, sets the tone for our defense.
Well, and Jalen Carter has a great matchup today. The guy he'll be lining up against, Sean Ryan, is their worst offensive lineman. He's one of the worst guards in the league, period. So he has a really advantageous matchup today. And as far as Josh Jacobs, the sense I got being down there this week is he is priority 1, 2, and 3 for this Eagles defense. Vic Fangio went on at length, which he rarely does, but at length about how good Josh Jacobs is, how their passing game comes off of the running game. Yeah. So I think you're going to see this Eagles defensive line, and especially Nakobe, come in early today and really, really focus on making sure they can't run.
And Eliot, you're right about the matchup, but let's be honest. Jordan Davis has to step up because Jalen Carter is going to be double and triple teamed.
Yep.
Right. So I'm not looking for like big numbers from Jalen. I'm looking for him to impact the game. I'm looking for a defensive performance that is very similar to what the Eagles did against Pittsburgh and against Baltimore. And they were able to get to the Baltimore running back, Henry, early. They were able to get to the Pittsburgh backs, Najee Harris and Warren, early. And I think that today they have to do that. Hits behind the line of scrimmage. They've got to play up the field.
Week 1, when they played the Packers in Brazil, they missed 9 tackles that game. It was one of their highest totals of the year. They very rarely miss more than 5 or 6 tackles the rest of the season. So, yeah, tackling is huge today.
And to Dave's point, and that's why I think, listen, we know the offense gets all the shine, and we focus on the offense so much. We're going to walk away from this game today talking about how impressed we are with this Eagles defense.
Yep.
They don't have a threat down the field. Jaden Reed is their best wide receiver. We'll figure out a way to keep him contained. Other than that, I don't see us being threatened on the back end of our defense. And if that's the case, that's going to allow Vic Fangio to come up with schemes up front to dominate this game. And I'm looking forward to the
I trust Fangio in this one.
Why are you not impressed with what Jaden Reed did? Why Jaden Reed in week 1?
No, I said I like Jaden Reed.
Cooper DeJean was not on the field that day. I think that makes a big difference. All right.
Yes. That's a Spartan.
Yeah.
Yeah. We got a lot to do here on the show. Coming up, we got some big guests. Eric Allen's going to join the show. Devin Caney's going to join the show. Merrill Reese. All coming up. The Eagles Radio Network presented by PNC Bank. Brilliantly boring since 1865 on 94 WIP.
I'm Jalen Hurts here for Window Nation. If you're a fan of saving money, listen up.
Right now, get 50% off all window styles. Plus, you could get 0 interest and 0 payments for 2 years. Sale ends January 31st, so schedule your consult now at 866-90-NATION or at windownation.com.
Don't pay more than you have to for new windows. Call 866-90-NATION or visit windownation.com.
New year, new ride. Start off the new year with Hessert Chevrolet of Cherry Hill, formerly Mall Chevrolet. Get fantastic finance and lease offers on a wide selection of new models. Whether you're looking to lease or finance, we have great deals to help you drive into the new year in style. Hessert Chevy of Cherry Hill offers one of the largest inventories in the area. For over 40 years, the Hessert family has been a trusted part of this community. Together, let's drive. Visit HessertChevyCH.com.
Hessert Chevrolet!
This is Merrill Reese. Just like your ritual of watching the birds, wellness is a ritual. At Hand & Stone, memberships make it easy with preferred pricing, wellness guidance, and more. Start your routine with an introductory massage or facial starting at just $79.95. Both are designed to help you reach your deepest results. With 60 area locations and introductory pricing starting at $79.95, building your wellness routine has never been easier. Book online at handandstone.com or visit them in spa today.
We are all quarterbacks of our financial future, and we have to be boldly committed to the process. It begins with a game plan, preparing yourself for success on and off the field. Not just thinking about short-term wins, but long-term goals. And the best part about winning is winning as one. Build your tomorrow with Lincoln Financial.
Lincoln Financial is the marketing name for Lincoln National Corporation and affiliates, copyright 2024. Lincoln Financial is a sponsor of Jalen Hurts, who has received compensation.
The Bricklayers and Allied Craft Workers Local 1 of Pennsylvania and Delaware, founded in 1865, is the longest continuous union in North America. Founded right here in Philadelphia. Bricklayers, stonemasons, rubble masons looking for excellent and competitive wages, top-notch health care, safe working conditions, state-of-the-art training facilities, and premier retirement packages. Please apply within. Call the Bricklayers and Allied Craft Workers at 215-856-9505 or visit bac-1.org to apply today.
Hey, it's Mike Quick. It's time to cut your old point-of-sale systems and revolutionize your business with PDQ POS. Joe Flynn and his team at PDQ have been the industry leaders for over 35 years. They offer everything from mobile POS to self-serve kiosks and the best service and support in the industry. For the fastest, easiest, and most reliable POS available, trust PDQ POS. No matter how many locations you have, they'll build a custom solution for your business. Visit pdqpos.com.
Carrier has the home comfort you need and financing options to fit any budget. Right now, you can enjoy 60 months financing on a new home comfort system. Turn to your local Carrier dealer for efficient heating and cooling performance, healthier indoor air, and convenient monthly payments for qualified buyers. Visit nopaycarrier.com. That's nopaycarrier.com. Carrier, turn to the experts.
Some things in life are meant for each other, like salt and pepper, bacon and mushrooms, or you and the all-new Wendy's Mushroom Bacon Cheeseburger. Now, you're probably thinking, wait a minute, does bacon go with mushrooms? And the answer is, they do now. So if you want crispy, crunchy, cheesy, juicy, shroomy, and garlic spready, then you and the Mushroom Bacon Cheeseburger are meant to be. For mushroomy, bacony goodness, gotta be Wendy's.
Limited time only at participating U.S. Wendy's.
Win big with CNC Heating and Air Conditioning's win-win deal, offering the best HVAC value on new installs to keep your home warm. Save thousands instantly with no equipment markups, extended 10-year warranty, rebates, and tax credits. Plus, CNC makes budgeting for your new system easy with 0% financing options. Schedule your free estimate today with CNC Heating and Air Conditioning, your local York certified comfort experts, and start saving today. Visit cc-hvac.com. Offers only for new installations through January 31st.
This is the Verizon Pregame Show on Eagles Radio.
Welcome back to the Verizon Pregame Show. The Philadelphia Eagles powered by Verizon. And joining us right now, the Eagles honorary captain this week, a finalist for the Pro Football Hall of Fame, Eric Allen. Eric, how you doing, man? Welcome on up here.
All right. Thank you, guys.
Well, first of all, congratulations on being a finalist, Eric. This we're hoping this is the year, and what a great career. We're 50 interceptions, and I always think back, you had big playoff interceptions too. What is it like going into a playoff game? What's the mentality in a game in a day like this?
It's big. I mean, it's all about being able to, for a defensive back, it's all about getting the ball. I mean, you've got to have good ball skills, got to prepare for those big situations. And when you get that opportunity, you have to have enough confidence in what you've been able to do and how you've been able to prepare to take that chance. And that's really what it's all about. I mean, it's great covering guys and being that kind of guy. But ultimately, for me, And cornerbacks, it's about getting the ball, man, and trying to get in the end zone.
Man, you had such an illustrious career, right? And we all obviously remember your time here with the Eagles and what you did on those great teams under Buddy Ryan, under Bud Carson, with the other great players, Seth, Reggie, Clyde, all of those guys.
Yep.
But I remember, E, as you got even into your later part of your career, you were still one of the very few corners you locked up on guys. You didn't need the help over the top. You were doing your thing up there. What was that like for you as a cornerback to have that mentality that I want to be challenged by the offense's best player? Give me that guy.
You know what? It all started early. When I got to Philly, I was a young guy, man. And Buddy Ryan said to me, he said, hey, you know, you have another semester in college, but if you want to start, you got to come out here and start getting ready, right? So I withdrew from school, came out here, and every single day I'm seeing Mike Quick over and over and over again. And I just talked to Mike on the football field just a minute ago, and I explained to him how important he was in my development as a player. Because when you're facing guys like that in practice, along with Chris Carter and those guys, the games became a lot easier. My practice habits had to be on point, and they were able to kind of get that momentum going. So it was very important to be on the football field with those guys. So when I was matching up with Jerry Rice or Michael Irvin or whoever it may be, I thought, man, I see a better person of you in practice every day. You know, so that's what it was about.
Man, I tell you, not until you just mentioned that it even dawned on me. Obviously, Chris Carter, who became one of the NFL's greats, he's a Hall of Famer.
Right.
And Mike Quick,
who
was on his way
to
being a Hall of Fame.
Yeah, Mike was legit, man.
Man, going up against that in practice every day.
And then the quarterback, you know, we're going against RC too, you know. So Keith Jackson was a great player, Keith Byers. So those practices were very, very competitive. And that's something I kept throughout my career. No matter where I was, I always attacked practice because of Buddy Ryan and how he wanted his team to perform. But I always attacked practice like it was a game situation.
Your defenses that you were on are still talked about by Eagles fans, and they really identified with those defenses. And it's kind of like that with this defense a little bit. Fans love this defense. As someone that was part of a unit that the city loved and identified, what do you think it is about defense that really resonates with this city?
Look where we are, man. We're in South Philadelphia, you know, and when we were here, we had a bunch of guys who really cared and loved each other. And I think that's the same type of vibe that I feel here with this Philadelphia Eagles defense. I mean, they're all bannering and want to ball for themselves and each other. And I think that's an important element of how you play defensive football. It's just not one guy. You know, the cover guy can cover, but at times you're going to get an opportunity to get beat. And that's when that defensive line comes up and steps up and gets the sack or vice versa. So this football team defensively reminds me a lot of those great defensive teams that have been the history of this organization.
Eric, man, we're so happy to have you here. Congratulations to make it this far for the Hall of Fame. And
yeah.
We're rooting for you, and hopefully you get that announcement when we're down in New Orleans for the Super Bowl. That's it right there. Eric Allen. Give Eric a big round of applause. Eric Allen, today's honorary captain. This is the Eagles Radio Network, presented by PNC Bank. Brilliantly boring since 1865 on 94 WIP.
The 2024 Eagles have been built to outwork.
Touchdown! Saquon Barkley! He choked it!
And outlast opponents.
And it's intercepted! It's intercepted!
The road to victory in New Orleans begins today in South Philly.
Our process through the week is what gives you a chance to win a football game.
As the Eagles battle the Green Bay Packers. Today's game is sponsored in part by PNC Bank, PDQ Restaurant Point of Sale Systems, Verizon, NovaCare Rehabilitation, your Delaware Valley Honda dealers, Deborah Heart and Lung Center, Acme, Piazza Auto Group, IBEW Local Union 98, and Chevrolet. You're listening to the Verizon Pregame Show on the Eagles Radio Network, presented by PNC Bank. Brilliantly boring since 1865.
Welcome back to the Verizon Pregame Show. The Philadelphia Eagles, powered by Verizon, alongside Hugh Douglas and Ike Reese and Eliot Shorr-Parks and Devin Caney. I'm Joe Giglio as we get set for the Eagles and Packers. 4:30 today, a kickoff for the right to go on to the divisional round. We appreciate Eric Allen joining us here. Coming up in a little bit, we'll have Merrill Reese with us. And joining us for the first time since becoming our sideline reporter for the Eagles Radio Network is Devin Caney. Devin, how we doing?
I'm doing well. I'm fired up. I'm so excited and honored for my first appearance in this tent. I'm a little bit perturbed by one thing, though, and that is Hugh Douglas's vibes. Hugh, I think you need to pick it up a little. I can sense your crankiness.
We need some smiles
from across
here.
the tent.
Yeah, sick of this, Hugh. Let's go.
Down the road. Like, what's you got a green beard and you just seem so unhappy.
I'm in game.
Oh, that's what it is. Yeah.
Is it the beard? Is that
No, I
the
got
issue?
my game. I got my game face on. I haven't been like this in a while.
Yes, it's green.
I know. I think we got people in the crowd.
Oh, wow. Someone else has a green beard. I
There's
love
someone
that.
over here, too.
I think the crowd needs to let Hugh know what a great job he did with this screen. Give you a round of applause.
It looks good. There we go.
Got the Hugh chant.
Yeah. Look,
Can we
it's
get a smile?
Starting a movement. We got people out here. No? All right.
We'll break a smile on this guy at some point today. Devin, we appreciate you trying.
Appreciate you, Devin.
Maybe an Eagles victory can get a smile out of Hugh Douglas.
Now I know how Jim Miller felt.
I know. Jeez. All right, Devin, what are you feeling as we get ready for this game? Eagles and Packers, and it's interesting. Depending on who you talk to this week, some think, wow, Packers are a really good opponent, right? A really high-end 7 seed. And then some would say, well, they really haven't beaten a good team all year. Where do you come down on your confidence level for the game today?
I think the Packers are a really talented team. They're a really good team, but I think the Eagles are better just across the board. Look, I'm not going to say anything that we haven't discussed already on WIP throughout the week. The Eagles just feel like the more confident team as well going into this. The one unknown is Jalen Hurts. And I don't know how he's going to be when he goes out there. He hasn't played since week 16. That's a lot of time to miss. Rust is certainly a factor. I went back to the 2022-23 season when Jalen Hurts missed, I believe it was 2 games when Gardner Minshew went in. And his first game back, I think, was against the Giants the first time, not in the postseason. And they did win, but it wasn't the best Jalen Hurts game. He had like a 65 quarterback rating. He threw an interception. So I think that there might be some rust he has to shake off. But I think the game plan should be what it has been, what succeeded for them throughout the season. That's just hand the ball to Saquon. Just run the rock against this Packers.
That's why I paid him all that money.
Yeah, exactly.
And he was the focal point of the team this year. To put in perspective the Jalen thing, so since 1990, only 5 quarterbacks have started their team's first playoff game after barely not playing the last 3 weeks. Like sometimes teams will take a bye, right? They'll give their guys a rest, like the Eagles did last week. But it's 3 games he barely played in. Now, one of those 5 was Donovan with Ike and Hugh in 0-2. This season reminds me a little bit of 0-2. Take me back to that, guys. If you remember that game, you guys faced Atlanta. Hugh, we talked about it on our show this week.
Yeah.
You guys faced the Falcons in the second round. You guys had a bye. Donovan was hurt down the stretch of the season, came back for the playoff game. Now, you guys won. Donovan played pretty well. Hugh, your memory was it took Donovan a little while to get rolling.
It took him a while to get going. And, I mean, I think that's the realistic thing. I know we as Eagle fans, we like to look at the team that we have and say we're going to steamroll everybody. I think that's going to be the case. But going at the beginning of this game, Jalen hasn't played in a month.
Mm-hmm.
And you're expecting to see the Jalen that you saw at the beginning of that Commodores game. That's not going to be the case. Jalen is probably going to be closer to the guy that you saw in Brazil the first game. And outside of that, like take out the interceptions and all that, but he's going to be a little rusty because he hasn't played in a while. So I think that's being fair to him. I think the best course of action in this is to give Saquon Barkley the ball. He's been running the ball. Saquon has been rested for 14 days. For all y'all that was calling in talking about how many carries he's had all year long, but he's been off for 14 days. Let him run the ball, man. Let him run the ball and let your quarterback get comfortable. Dallas Goedert has been chilling damn near all season long. Give him an opportunity to get involved in this passing game. Short intermediate passes. And then you allow Jalen to work his way back in the game.
Well, the other part of this, too, is that can make Jalen's life easier. Yes, Saquon is obviously a big part of it. But the Eagles' defense, if they can get off to a good start, get the Packers off the field for their first few drives, that'll take away some of the pressure on not only Jalen, but on the coaching staff to feel like they need to play catch up. If you give up a touchdown on the opening drive, you're the defense, all of a sudden that game plan could get thrown out the window. So the last thing you want, and you brought up the performance in Brazil, Hugh, Jalen took too many chances with the ball in that game. It was not just accuracy, it was where he put the ball. That's what he can't do today. It's fine. If he just wants to tuck it and run, I would do that before I would take chances early on.
Well, I also think something to watch for is the Eagles have gotten off to slow starts throughout most of the season, especially with Jalen Hurts as quarterback. The Packers are third in points scored in the first quarter. So they could very well get down early in this game, but I think we just have to be patient and trust that they'll find their way and stay the course like they've done all season.
And you look in week 1, they were up, I think 6-0 is what the Packers went up. It could have easily been 14 or 21. The defense held firm in the red zone. So the defense early on today has to allow Jalen some time to get going.
That moment kind of set the tone for why Hugh's beard is green. The defense stood up in week 1, made stops in the red zone, and away we go here now to this game, Mike. I mean, I expect this defense to continue playing well. They've been great all season, or at least since week 4.
Come on, big dog.
Still no smile.
No, I'm in game
Not
mode.
even a smirk.
Full game mode.
Not even a soft
All
smile.
right, listen, I'm ignoring him the rest of the show today since he's in a bad mood. Hey, we keep making this game about Jalen Hurts and what he's going to like and what he's going to do. Let's not make this complicated. Give the ball to 26.
Yeah.
And we go to Pound Town, man. That's where we're headed. Give the ball to Saquon Barkley. Listen, no offense to anybody. We got a lot of great weapons on offense. A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, Jalen Hurts, Dallas Goedert. But we have the number 1 offensive line in football, and we got the best running back in football this year. And this Eagles team, sometimes it's just about following what the narrative is. And the narrative for this Eagles team all year has been great defense, great running game. It's no slight towards anybody else. But this year, the passing game is a complement to the running game. It's not vice versa. Let's not make this game complicated. Give the ball to our best player, arguably the MVP of the league, in Saquon Barkley, and you're going to wear this team down. And quite frankly, our defense, I'm excited about watching our defense play today. This crowd, with the noise and the energy they're going to bring, Jordan Love's not ready for this.
Nope.
Yep.
He's not ready for this today. This defense and Saquon playing in front of his first home game playoff atmosphere. Listen, Jalen Hurts just needs to get comfortable to get reacclimated. We'll get the Jalen Hurts game next week in the NFC Championship game.
2 weeks, yeah.
But no, I'm saying next week and the NFC Championship game.
At some point, he's going to have to throw it a lot to win a game.
We'll get it.
I disagree with that.
But today, this is about what's got us here. And it's been our defense and our running game, man. Don't make this complicated.
All right, let me play.
Don't make this complicated.
Let me either play devil's advocate or just present the other side, and I want to know what everyone would do. So the Packers know what you're saying, Ike. The Packers know this. It's all they're thinking about. Usually the run game versus the pass game with Eagles is a numbers game, right? Let's say the Packers start the game and they say, we're putting 8 in the box and we are making Jalen Hurts throw.
AJ.
So then you're good over the top,
Yes,
AJ?
sir.
All right.
Yes, sir.
Hugh, what do you think?
Yes, sir. Let's go to AJ Brown. Yes, sir.
Hugh Douglas, 8 in the box. You still running?
All hands on deck. You got to throw it. You got to throw the ball.
All right.
I think you.
Listen,
the running game is
if
going to be big, but you got to throw the ball.
If they're going to do that, listen, one-on-one, I'll take our receivers against anybody.
I would, especially with their injuries at corner.
Yeah, I'll take our receivers against anybody. So if that's what the Packers are going to do, then we'll take the 20 and 30, 40-yard chunk plays down the field.
Eliot, where do you come down?
Yeah, look, I agree you pass the ball, but I'm not afraid of the Packers stacking the box. The Eagles have the best offensive line in the league. They've arrested Saquon. I'm not letting the Packers dictate what we do. So, yes, they can stack the box, but I want the ball in Saquon Barkley's hands today. I don't care how many defenders are in that box.
What do you think, Devin? They try to take Saquon away, more Jalen, or just keep running?
I agree with Eliot. I think you just keep wearing down their defense. I know. I can't believe I'm saying this. I agree with Eliot slightly. Just because A.J. Brown, keep in mind, he did leave practice after a few minutes, and then he didn't practice this week. I do think he has a lingering injury that might be a little bit more serious than they're letting on. Look, he's going to play, but it's just something to keep in mind. So I don't know if he's going to be like 100%. He might be 97%. And because of that, I think you just rely on Saquon even if they stack the box.
I mean, you were with me in the locker room earlier this week when AJ talked. I think 97% is generous. AJ is dealing with something. He went out to practice.
I'm trying to keep the fans calm.
No, I know. But to your point.
But you're right.
If you can get out of this game without needing 15 targets to AJ and 11 to Devontae. I mean, Devontae missed practice as well with a back injury. A knee injury and a back injury it's not that cold, but in the colder weather, that's not ideal. So you got to establish the running game early and make it so it's not on AJ and Devontae.
So both of you guys, you guys feel something that's real with AJ.
Oh, it's definitely real.
Well, when Ruben said earlier, he thinks the off-season surgery could be a thing. I mean, something's going on here, obviously, with AJ's
I've been around AJ in his career when he's had knee injuries, and most time he kind of laughs it off. He didn't really laugh this one off. Like, he is dealing with something going into this game. Now, he only has to be good for 4 hours, so I'm sure they will make sure he has the necessary, medicine that he feels good. But, it is still a concern of mine for sure.
Well, I go back to this then. All season long, we talked about Saquon's carries, especially early. Like, is it too much? Are they going to wear him out by the postseason? They made a choice last week, Ike. They didn't play him. Sure. They didn't go for a record. You know what? If we have AJ with a knee and Devontae with a back and Jalen off a concussion, I'm good with 30 carries for Saquon today. Like, there's only 4 weeks to play. This is why you rested him last week. Let him go.
Now, listen, I will say this. Forget about all – I've talked about precautionary measures and all that stuff. You got to do what you got to do to win this game.
Yep. Yeah.
There's no way you're losing this game. So, if that means Saquon needs to touch the ball 30-plus times, that's fine. That means Jalen has to run the ball a few times in there. I guess we got to do that too.
Well,
there's no way you can lose this game.
And Saquon is not only the engine that makes him go, but I think he's the emotional leader. If you think back to week 1, that offense got going when they hit Saquon in the corner of the end zone for that touchdown. Against the Saints in week 3 where they were dead in the water, Saquon got the ball and saved them.
It's been him all year.
Against the Rams, he had Saquon, when he's going, you can feel the energy from the offensive line and, frankly, the fan base too. So getting him going, I think, just gives this team the energy they need to make sure they win the game.
The other thing that hit me this week, and both Eliot and Devin were around the team, it feels like they're going in with a sense of confidence and a good feeling around it. It's a 180 from last year. Devin, last year the playoffs started, and we were trying to talk ourselves into this wasn't going to be a disaster, but it was. Like, you felt it, they felt it. They feel like they're going in with an immense amount of confidence.
Yeah, there's a sense of confidence around this team and also just eagerness. So I don't want to say excited because it's not as frantic as that. You can just tell that they're really sure of themselves talking to them in the locker room. And even just the past 2 weeks being around these guys, you could almost sense not that the games were meaningless, but they were just looking forward to getting to the postseason. They've been looking forward to this moment. Saquon said he's been talking about moments like this game with Jalen Hurts and the offense and his O-line since before the season even started. So it's finally here. You just hope, and I'm confident that they can, come up big in the big moments.
Yeah, you get a sense as a team, and Hugh knows this. When you're a good football team. Like you get a sense where you're like, man, we just don't need anything bad to happen.
Yeah.
We're good. Like we feel like we're the best team. So, and I believe that's what the Eagles sort of feel. They feel like they are the best team in the NFL when they're clicking, and they got everybody healthy. So it's not cockiness, but there's a confidence there that they have.
I also think there's a bit of an anger, and I like that. They're mad that they didn't win the Super Bowl in 2022. Yeah. They're mad that in 2023
Eliot,
they collapsed.
They're mad the way the season ended last year.
That's what I'm saying. They feel that. How many times this year, Devin, you've been there, has AJ said, I'm doing this because of the Super Bowl? When he said what he said after Carolina about how the passing game wasn't good enough, next time he talked, he said, why did I say that? Because we lost the Super Bowl in 2023. 2022. We didn't get there in 2023. I'm trying to win it in 2024. So this team is like a laser focus. They have the best combination of anger and cockiness in a team I've ever covered. So they are if they lose today, and I don't think they will, they're not going down without a fight. This team is ready to be physical in the postseason.
Well, you know who else is specifically going to be playing with some anger? Lane Johnson, Jordan Mailata.
Yes.
So Lane didn't speak in the locker room, but Jordan Mailata spoke on Friday, and he said Lane Johnson will absolutely use his all-pro snub to fuel him and show everyone why he deserves it in today's game. So
well, I feel bad for the Packers edge rushers today.
I know what that's like.
Yeah. How many of those all-pro snubs you have back in the day? All right, we got a lot to do here on the show. Devin, thank you for joining us.
Thank you, guys.
And we'll be listening on the sidelines with Merrill and Mike, especially Merrill, who will join us next. Merrill's take on the game, his keys coming up next. This is the Eagles Radio Network presented by PNC Bank. Brilliantly boring since 1865 on 94 WIP.
PNC Bank prides themselves on being boring, but the truth is they couldn't be more excited about serving our great region. For nearly 160 years, they've quietly planted the seeds to sprout brilliant results for equally brilliant clients. As fans themselves, they love your passion for winning. That's why they have dedicated teams across greater Philadelphia ready to do the boring work to help set you up for success. PNC Bank, brilliantly boring since 1865. PNC Bank, National Association, member FDIC. Hey, Eagles fans, this is Merrill Reese. Phones weren't made to be broken, but life happens. So when you break your phone, Verizon in Philly's got you. Trade in any phone from one of their top brands in any condition, guaranteed, and get a great deal on one of their best 5G phones with unlimited ultimate. Switch now and save. Available at a Philly area Verizon store.
What's on the menu for football season? Pork, of course. Get ready for game day with Hatfield and put some pork on your fork. Elevate your kickoff cuisine and halftime feast with Hatfield's winning lineup of marinated pork tenderloins, pork loin fillets, ground pork and sausage, bacon and ham. Whether you're the tailgate king or gridiron gourmet, Hatfield helps you savor the taste of victory. Visit simplyhatfield.com for play-by-play menu inspiration. Find your flavor with Hatfield.
Know what's below, because even minor excavation projects like installing a mailbox, building a patio, or putting up a fence can do major damage. Contact 811 before you dig, or visit pa1call.org to submit a locate request to have underground utilities marked.
Dear Winter, you're not so treacherous, because Toyota's got 25 vehicles with available all-wheel drive and four-wheel drive, and that's saying something. So you bring the action, and we'll bring the traction. Always Toyota. Toyota, let's go places.
Modern Group is your trusted authorized Hyundai construction dealer in the Philadelphia metropolitan area, helping build a winning team. With equipment ranging from all types of sizes, let Modern be your Hyundai construction equipment provider. Modern Group also services and sells parts for all construction equipment. Modern Group is hiring technicians, signing bonuses, great pay, benefits, and employee-owned. Join a winning team. Visit moderngroup.com for your construction equipment needs.
It's a long season, but one thing is sure, Birds football is sure to make your heart skip a beat. But that flutter you feel in your chest could also be something else, like AFib, atrial fibrillation, a serious heart condition that needs expert care from an all-pro team like Deborah Heart and Lung Center. One thing is certain, all season long, Team Green is sure to make your heart flutter, maybe even skip a beat now and then. Just remember, when it's your heart, you don't take chances. DemandDeborah.org. Go Birds.
We are all quarterbacks of our financial future, and we have to be boldly committed to the process. It begins with a game plan, preparing yourself for success on and off the field. Because when the lights are on, that's when preparation meets opportunity. And the best part about winning is winning as one. Build your tomorrow with Lincoln Financial.
Lincoln Financial is the marketing name for Lincoln National Corporation and affiliates, copyright 2024. Lincoln Financial is a sponsor of Jalen Hurts, who has received compensation.
Bird Gang Spirits is made for the true Philly fans, the pre-gamers, tailgaters, dieharders, and lifelongers. Now you can raise a glass to number 25 himself, Eagles legend LaShawn Shady McCoy, with their new very limited edition Bird Gang Shady Bourbon Whiskey. Crafted to honor Shady's induction into the Eagles Hall of Fame, this special release is the spirit of Philly pride in every pour. Pre-order now to reserve a bottle or two of LaShawn Shady McCoy's Bird Gang Kentucky Bourbon at BOTLD.com. Please drink responsibly.
Eagles, Packers, and Monday morning from 10 to 2, me and my man Joe Giglio, we're going to break it all down on WIP.
You're listening to the Verizon Pregame Show on the Eagles Radio Network.
Welcome back to the Verizon Pregame Show. The Philadelphia Eagles powered by Verizon. Alongside Hugh Douglas, Ike Reese, and Eliot Shorr-Parks. I'm Joe Giglio as we get set for the Eagles and Packers, a 4:30 kickoff today. And joining us right now to talk about it, give us his keys to the game, is Merrill Reese. Merrill, how we doing?
Merrill.
I am great, just fine. What a beautiful day for January 12th. I can't imagine a nicer time of year because it's really almost 40 degrees.
Yeah, it's pretty mild, and it's not from where we said not much wind. We've had windier days recently, so that's a good thing. Merrill, all right, what are you feeling today? Give us some keys here in your mind as we head towards the playoff game.
Okay, number one, attacking the Packers secondary. Without Pro Bowl corner Jair Alexander, who's on IR, Green Bay has been vulnerable to the deep ball. Brown and Smith will be tough to contain. Also, you have to watch out for safety Xavier McKinney. He cannot be ignored. Number two, stop or at least slow down running back Josh Jacobs. He averaged over 5 yards carry against them in Brazil. Jordan Davis needs the kind of game he had last week. And number three, play a clean game. Avoid unforced errors. Neutral zone infractions, delay of game, ineligible receivers downfield. These can destroy drives. Knock off the Packers and move on.
This week would be the division round. Merrill, we appreciate you hopping on. Have a great broadcast, and let's plan to do this again next week, all right, for a division round game. That sound good?
Absolutely.
There he goes, the great Merrill Reese. Appreciate him joining us here. All right, guys, couple things that I thought about as Merrill was talking there. And one, I want to throw a hypothetical at you guys for the game today. We haven't discussed much of Nick Sirianni, but as the games get bigger, his decisions get bigger, and all this becomes a bigger talking point with the head coach, who's had obviously a good season here, going 14-3. But so
a great season.
I'm not going to argue with you. 14-3 is a great year. He's had a great season, and they've lost one game.
Well, great season is actually winning the Super Bowl.
Okay, he had a great regular season.
Or getting there, yes.
Let's agree here. Great regular season. Now the biggest game start, which means every decision he makes is magnified. All right, so I'm going to paint a scenario for you guys. You tell me what you think Sirianni should do. Because we have a quarterback we've discussed a lot today that could be a little rusty, right? And we have a kicker who we haven't discussed yet, in Jake Eliot, who has hit one kick the whole year of 50-plus yards. So let me play this out for you guys. First quarter of the game, 4 minutes to go, no score in the game. 4th and 4 for the Eagles. They're on the Packer 34-yard line. So we're not in tush-push territory. It's probably a pass play. You either go for a 52-yard field goal to put Eliot out there early and see if he can make one, or you throw the ball with Jalen Hurts for a first down. Eliot, Shorr-Parks, what are you doing? What's Sirianni doing?
I think he'll kick the ball. I think it's important to get Jake Elliott going again, and I don't have the same concern others do about Jake Elliott. He's made some of the biggest kicks in franchise history. The last big kick he had to make against Washington, he nailed it. So I think the team should have confidence in him, but I think Sirianni will go to Jake Elliott today. I don't think he'll be hesitant to have him kick the ball.
Well, before everyone answers, we have to have some concern here. He's 1 of 7 from 50-plus.
Yeah, but one of those was blocked. One of those was from 58.
I don't give a damn what
Well, I'm
it
just
was.
saying, but when the clutch situations have been there, Jake Elliott has made them. And I think there's a difference between kicking in the playoffs and kicking in the regular season.
So you're telling me 50-plus yards, you got full confidence he's making it?
I don't.
I mean, maybe not full confidence,
Okay,
but I'm not scared enough that I'm not going to put him out there.
I agree
I'm
with
going to
that.
coach the game regularly as if he has had a great year. I'm not alternating how I make the decisions based off of his kicking record this year.
So let me just say this. Early in the game, I give him a shot. If he doesn't hit it, late in the game, Elliot, you mean to tell me you're going to feel fully confident going out there?
I mean, look, if he's 0 for 2, that's something I think about, but it also is so situational. Like, I want him to be aggressive as well. So to Joe's point,
I do too, but it's been an entire year, and he's had I love Jake Elliott, but I can't ignore what the hell I've been watching. Right?
You can't ignore it, but it's just like with if Jalen's struggling or Saquon
No,
struggling,
it's not
you keep
the same.
giving them the ball. It's the same
No,
concept.
it's not the same.
Hugh, what are you doing here? 4th and 4 from the
First of
34.
all, I don't know why he's not kicking off anymore. I don't even know what that's all about.
That to me is the biggest worrisome sign of where his leg is at.
Yeah.
They're having Brandon Mann kick off. Yeah.
Hugh, what are you doing? 4th and 4, first quarter from the 34. 52-yard attempt,
I'm going to give him a chance to kick the ball.
Okay,
I'm going to give him a chance to kick it because he deserves that.
I give him that early.
See,
but if he misses it,
well, so that's why I say that. So let me play devil's advocate. If you give him the shot and he misses it, have we lost him for the game? Have you lost? Because I don't want
lost me from 50-plus.
Well, yeah, right.
Unless I'm in a desperate situation.
I also think you may have lost him. He's going to start work. His own confidence has got to be shaken.
Have you guys forgot everything Jake Elliott's done in his career? I mean, the way you guys are jumping off the boat here is insane.
It's been a full year.
Yeah, Jalen's had bad years. Like everybody struggles. Jake Elliott has made some of the biggest kicks in franchise history. I'm not afraid to put him out there if he misses one kick. You have to keep.
No, but it wouldn't be one kick.
No, you're saying today. You're saying if he misses the first one, are you worried you're going to lose him for the game?
Yeah.
This dude kicked the game-winning field goal in the Super Bowl.
That was 7 years ago.
So what? He still did it. Like one missed field goal is not going to alter this guy's ego or confidence to the point where he can't kick it anymore.
Kickers are different. Kickers are different.
Elliot, for the most part, I agree with you. And I'm not saying.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Well, here's what I'm saying though. If he misses early, how could my confidence not be shaken from that?
You can be shaken all you want. It's not alternating how I'm coaching the game. If late in the game you need a field goal to either go ahead or I'm not avoiding Jake Elliott. There's a difference between kicking in the first quarter and a pressure situation in the fourth quarter mentally, in my opinion. And when Jake Elliott takes the field in clutch situations, he has so much to look back on from I've made these kicks and I know I can do it.
Fourth and 3, what are you doing?
So it depends on the situation.
Well, that's what I'm saying. You need one of those situations where it's a reasonable fourth down chance versus is the field goal too far away?
So if it's like 4th and 4 and it would be a 52-yard field goal late in the game,
right,
I would kick it. If you needed to tie or go ahead, I would kick it before I would go for it. If there's 30 seconds
If he's already missed one early?
Yes. I am showing
don't you have more confidence in your quarterback, A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, Saquon Barkley?
But here's the deal. Even if you go for it on 4th, it's not like you don't score off that alone. You're going to need Jake Elliott to make a field goal at one point if we're talking about a specific situation.
Do you think this is not in his head to some level?
I don't, but
I totally disagree. He's human. And when the ball isn't going through the upright, you start to second guess yourself. It's not going through the upright because he's not preparing. He's preparing the same way. He's working diligently. And when it doesn't go through the uprights, there's no way that he doesn't have that in the back of his mind. It's one thing if he's taking shortcuts, if he's not preparing.
Right.
And then you can sort of understand it or explain it. But when he's doing everything that he's done in his past and it's still not going through, there's no way he doesn't think about that.
All right, maybe it's in his head. You're probably right? Maybe he's thinking about it.
It has to be. He's a human.
But you can't coach scared today if you're Sirianni.
No, I'm not saying scared, Elliot. I'm just saying sometimes you have to take that into consideration. That's why early I'm with you.
Right.
You go for it and let him kick it. But if I'm going later in the game and he struggled, why wouldn't I got an offense the way that I have? Why wouldn't I give the offense a chance to try to convert the fourth down?
Because you're going to need him to make a kick eventually on that drive.
Man.
Now, you're right. The difference is between 55 and 40 is obviously
well, that's been his season. He can't make. Well, he barely can make 50. It's one of 7.
But the whole thing Sirianni's done this year is show confidence in his players. When Jalen went out, the first attempt that Pickett had was a 3rd and 7 throw. You cannot go into a game or even throughout the game and lose confidence in your guys. I agree with you. We can feel how we can feel in the fourth quarter about him, but Nick has got to keep faithful to Jake Elliott here. Otherwise, it's going to hurt them.
Well, to your point, Elliot, it's why it's a hard decision because you're damned if you do, damned if you don't. And you're showing faith in one, not the other, right? If he puts the offense out there, if I'm Elliot, I'm like, he didn't want me kicking for 50+. I mean, that's the obvious thing I'm thinking. On the sideline as the kicker, he doesn't trust me right now. That's why the offense is out here. Here's what
I'm gonna tell you.
Whatever they do better work.
It's gonna be a 4th and 2 or 4th and 3, and that decision is gonna have to be made.
It'll come.
It's coming, yeah.
Because here's the thing about the Packers: while they've not beat a good team all year, they've lost by 2, they've lost by 3. It's been close games. So you're gonna need Jake Elliott not only today for this whole postseason run. If you sit him or not sit him, but if you pass over a chance today for him to kick it, how does that impact his head moving forward? I'm coaching regularly with Jake Elliott. I'm not worried about it.
Hugh, if you're Sirianni, are you thinking about this? Is this something you're trying to avoid, or are you just going to let him kick?
I would say this. I think that Jake Elliott is in a position where I still believe in him, but that trust is waning, and that's why it's so important. When you talk about the situation, the scenario that you presented, if you let him kick it in the first half of the game, and he misses that kick, he has to know that my trust in him is probably not there. So that's why it's important for him if he gets that opportunity. If he needs to understand that if I'm Coach Sirianni, I'm giving you a chance to work yourself out of this. And if you blow this opportunity, then I can't go to you anymore. But to your point, if that's the case, I'm letting him kick. But if he misses that kick, then he has to know that those opportunities are waning.
And listen, you do realize there's no game next week if we lose. So this isn't playing Carolina and saying let Jake Elliott kick it so we can sort of build up his confidence the rest of the season. There is no rest of the season.
There is no tomorrow.
If the ball doesn't go through the uprights.
That's exactly why I'm still kicking Jake Elliott, because he's made clutch kicks before. And if late in the game you're coaching around the kicker, that's how you end up getting either not a chance to tie it, not a chance to go ahead.
But if he's missed field goals, that's more understandable than constantly running out there saying, I got faith in Jake Elliott. You think these fans are going to care how much faith he has in Jake Elliott?
They'll be happy when he makes the kick.
I'm talking about if he doesn't make it, because what the excuse is going to be, I have faith in Jake Elliott.
That's how he has to
coach. So my point is that do you think that's going to be an acceptable explanation if you don't win the game because of that?
Of course it won't be, but you can't coach that way, no offense, with how the fans are going to feel. Like
the fans, forget about the fans. What about the players?
Jake Elliott's one of the players.
I know he's one of the players over there.
Yes.
Yeah, you don't know what it's like to be in that locker room. He's a player over there. Don't give me the whole offense and defense. We look at kickers differently. Do your job. And you can't tell me a kicker who doesn't do his job isn't looked at differently from his teammates.
Look,
they are.
Now, look,
They are. Do you think Andy Reid felt that way when David Akers missed the field goals against Green Bay?
But did he keep putting them out there?
What did he say after the game?
He said, "Do the math." I agree, and that was a bad moment for Andy Reid.
Well, and Andy, if he could go back, he probably would change
everybody
it.
else said though.
Yeah, and if Jake Elliott misses a big kick, we'll all rip him for it. But that's not you can't go into a game being afraid to put.
Hold on. I'm not going to rip Jake Elliott miss the kick. If Sirianni lets him kick a 54-yarder, that's on Sirianni.
Yes,
he's watched them all year.
Yes.
You can't make them.
Yes, Elliott. That's the point.
It's like in baseball, sending a reliever that's cooked on the mound and blaming the reliever. No, he's cooked.
Right.
The manager has to be in charge. That's Sirianni. This is how Sirianni
it's
becomes.
not on Jake Elliott. It's on Nick.
This is Sirianni's got to make about 7 decisions between now and February that are going to win or not win a Super Bowl. He's got to hit it right.
And how does he make those decisions? How did he get the #1 winning percentage among all active head coaches? He believes in his guys, and he doesn't let mistakes alter his decisions. Like
if he believed in his guys, we would win for it on 4th and 5 at the 16-yard line in the Super Bowl.
Well, that was a mistake. I agree.
Well, don't give me the whole he believes in his
but
guys
he's learned
nonsense.
since then. He's learned
Don't
since
give me
then.
that whole
He does,
nonsense.
but he does. That's how
But
he's
in the
coached
crunch
this year.
time, he didn't believe in
And
him.
that was a mistake. I agree.
Exactly.
And he's learned from it.
Exactly.
I agree with
But
that.
I'm saying, though, don't roll out the whole.
But he does.
Hold on. The point is, don't roll out he's gotten where he's got by believing in his guys.
He has.
Because he's shown where he didn't believe
But
in
that was one instance, and it was a mistake.
It's not just one instance.
Overall, has Nick been more aggressive in believing in his guys or less? He's obviously
in past years, what has he done?
Overall,
the last 12 games, he's not been aggressive.
I think he's been pretty aggressive.
No.
Dude, when Kenny Pickett got in, he threw it. He went for
He's
from
not
a
going
Kenny
for it
Pickett
on
on
4th down when he shouldn't.
Yes,
he's
he has.
kicking field goals when he needs to instead of being overly aggressive. That's why everything has been going well.
Since the Jaguar game, I feel like
he's
been
less. Very
yeah.
quiet as a head coach, and you know it.
I think he's calmed down on the sideline, but when he's
his
had backups
play
in there, he's still been aggressive.
His play call.
All right, well, keep this one in mind if it's a 4th and 3 or 4th and 4 in the first quarter of this
Kick
game.
the ball. Kick the
All
ball.
right, on the other side, we will have
We're trying to get to the division
3
round.
keys. I'm trying to get to New Orleans. We got a bus trip to plan. All right, before
Hugh.
We're going to get you to crack a smile before this one's over, Hugh. All right. Before we go any further here, we didn't have time at the end of our first hour for our fan chant here because we had the great Eric Allen up here. But joining us right now to lead us in an Eagles chant heading into this break is Angelo and Vinny. You guys ready? Let's do an Eagles chant, everyone. You guys lead us. Oh, there we go. Go Birds. Good stuff there. Angelo and Vinny. All right, on the other side, Eliot's 3 keys to victory.
He has a green beard.
Everyone has a green beard this week. It's the Eagles Radio Network presented by PNC Bank. Brilliantly boring since 1865 on 94 WIP.
Now's the time for a great deal on a new Honda. It's time to drive smarter with high-tech features and excellent reliability. It's time for intelligent design, plus exciting performance. Get a new vehicle you'll love. Check out the Honda Civic, Accord, or HRV.
Contact your local Honda dealer today.
See dealer for financing details.
Some things in life are meant for each other, like salt and pepper, bacon and mushrooms, or you and the all-new Wendy's Mushroom Bacon Cheeseburger. Now, you're probably thinking, wait a minute, does bacon go with mushrooms? And the answer is, they do now. So if you want crispy, crunchy, cheesy, juicy, shroomy, and garlic spready, then you and the Mushroom Bacon Cheeseburger are meant to be. For mushroomy, bacony goodness, gotta be Wendy's.
Limited time only at participating U.S. Wendy's.
Carrier has the home comfort you need and financing options to fit any budget. Right now, you can enjoy 60 months financing on a new home comfort system. Turn to your local Carrier dealer for efficient heating and cooling performance, healthier indoor air, and convenient monthly payments for qualified buyers. Visit nopaycarrier.com. That's nopaycarrier.com. Carrier, turn to the experts.
Tastykake has a treat for every Joan. Peanut butter fans have candy cakes, the chocolate-coated cakes with a creamy layer of peanut butter inside. You like the simple classics? Crimpets are light sponge cakes topped with rich icing. Donut lovers have options for days. You've got frosted mini donuts, powdered mini donuts, and can't forget about the delicious Dippin' Sticks flavors. I mean, there's so many uniquely satisfying treats to choose from, but that's no surprise because it's Tastykake, except no substitutes.
Jack Daniels, tailgating, and the birds. It doesn't get any better. So stop by your local PA Fine Wine and Good Spirits store and stock up for the game with the original Jack Daniels Tennessee Whiskey, along with Jack Daniels Fire and Jack Daniels Honey. Or grab a case of Jack and Coke or Jack and Coke Zero Sugar, now ready to drink in a can. Jack Daniels, born for the tailgate. Whiskey specialty, 7% ABV. Jack Daniels Distillery, Lynchburg, Tennessee. Jack Daniels and Old Number 7 are registered trademarks of Jack Daniels Properties, Inc. Coca-Cola is a trademark of the Coca-Cola Company.
I'm Mark Lynch, business manager of IBW Local Union 98. We're proud to support the Birds as they march on the road to victory in pursuit of a championship. Local Union 98's 5,500 highly trained members, along with our partners, Nika, Pendel, Jersey, apply that same passion and drive to every project. We're dedicated to maintaining Philadelphia's status as a championship city. For superior craftsmanship, completing using the latest methods, always with safety in mind, use the top-notch professionals of IBEW Local Union 98. Go Birds.
This week at Acme, don't miss the digital deal for 80% lean ground beef value pack for $2.99 per pound. Clip these deals and unlock hundreds more when you sign up for Acme For You. Visit acmemarkets.com/for-you or download the Acme mobile app to sign up and save today.
Check it out, the new iPhone 16 Pro with Apple Intelligence and camera control for easy access. At Verizon, you can get it when you trade in any phone from one of their top brands.
Any?
Any.
Even if it's 4 years old?
Yeah.
Even if it's 4 years old and I drop it on the sidewalk?
Yep.
Even if it's 4 years old and I drop it on the sidewalk, then a scooter runs it over, so now it's not just old and cracked, but shattered?
With Verizon, the answer is always yes. New and existing customers can trade in any phone from one of our top brands in any condition for the new iPhone 16 Pro with unlimited Ultimate. Trade-in terms apply. See Verizon.com for details.
This week at Acme, don't miss the playoff special items of the week. Pepperidge Farm Goldfish Crisps are family size and Snack Factory Bites or Pop-Ems for $2.99 each when you buy two. Stop in and discover why football is better at Acme, your tailgating headquarters.
Playoff football, Eagles and Packers. We'll talk about it tomorrow on the WIP afternoon show with Ike, Spike, and Fritz, 2 to 6.
This is the Verizon Pregame Show on Eagles Radio.
Welcome back to the Verizon Pregame Show. The Philadelphia Eagles powered by Verizon alongside Ike Reese, Eliot, Shorr-Parks, Hugh Douglas. I am Joe Giglio. 4:30 kickoff today on Fox and, of course, right here on WIP as the Eagles try to move on. We'll find out who their potential opponent could be next week after tonight and tomorrow's game. But we got a lot to get to here in this segment coming up in a little bit. We'll get to some of the predictions here for all of us on this game. But right now, we got to get to ESP's Keys to the Game.
3 keys with ESP.
All right, the Keys to the Game brought to you by United Tire. For the best tire prices anywhere, don't drive alone, drive United.
So number one, avoid Xavier McKinney. Go after Eric Stokes. Eric Stokes, their starting corner, is terrible. He's one of the worst starting cornerbacks in the NFL. When you get a matchup with A.J. Brown one-on-one, the first thing you look at is where's Stokes, where's McKinney, and you throw it accordingly. McKinney, 8 interceptions this year. The Packers are 4th in the league in takeovers on defense. They've only lost the turnover battle 3 times this year. So if you can avoid McKinney, don't turn the ball over, that's a key to winning the game.
All right, that's a good one. And their defensive backfield is interesting because they lost Jair Alexander. I mean, it's a huge loss entering the postseason. He was on AJ a lot week 1, so they don't have him. And Eliot, I'm glad you said avoid McKinney because it feels like that's the X factor for them on defense. He had 8 interceptions this year, and in his career, he has 3 just against Hurts.
Yeah.
I mean, he has been kryptonite for Jalen in the
He
past.
does a good job reading Jalen. If you remember week 1 in Brazil, that first interception was by McKinney. He read Jalen perfectly. So if I'm Jalen, I'm not saying you completely avoid the side of the field McKinney's on, but McKinney is going to lean to one side, probably the side Eric Stokes is on. So then you look at the matchup with Carrington Valentine. He's pretty good, but he's definitely not as good as Jair Alexander. So McKinney, I would just steer clear of him if I was Jalen.
You know what's interesting about it? It's almost like there's going to be a feeling to maybe try to attack on the outside, like open up the pass game because they're down their best corner. Right, that balance between hey, we have a matchup here versus hey, let's not get away from running the football and playing our game. That's a tough balance.
No, it'll be a lot safer to throw to the outsides. Tips, overthrows, and late throws. Can't have that against
that was week
Green
1.
Bay. Yeah, you can't have that against this Green Bay secondary. Jalen has to be decisive and precise where he wants to go with the football, and I would work the outer perimeters. Listen, I'm not going to tell you to avoid the middle, but you had better be on point when you throw the ball over the middle of the field against this defense.
Yeah, I mean, Hugh, week 1, that was probably, of all the games this year, that was probably the one where Jalen had the most, throws. He had 2 picks, but it really almost was 4.
It was like 4 or 5, right?
Yeah, especially coming off the fact that we were talking about how we didn't want him to turn the ball over because of what was going through last year, and to start the season out that way, that was pretty tough. That's why I said it's going to be interesting to see how they attack this game plan. Because, like I said, Jalen right now is probably closer to the quarterback that started the season than the one that we saw play against the Commodores. So you want to try to ease him to the game as much as you possibly can.
All right, Ellie.
Number 2?
Yeah, let's go to number 2.
So we just got into the special teams kicking debate. We don't need to get back into that. But this is a big game for the special teams overall. So number 2 for me, shut down Keyshawn Nixon, their kick returner. I get the sense being at the NovaCare this week, they're a little bit concerned about the kickoff coverage. It wouldn't shock me at all to see some defensive starters out on the kickoff unit today because of Keyshawn Nixon and how good he can be. The Packers are 3rd in the league in average starting field position. They very rarely have to drive a long field to score. Without Christian Watson, they're not going to be able to get big plays. They're going to have to dink and dunk down the field. So if the kickoff coverage is good and you make them go 85 yards instead of 75 yards, that's a big deal.
All right, Ike, what do you think they could do to make sure this is better? Because there's been games this year, the Washington game they lost in particular, where it was a mess. Now, we were worried about it the next.
That's when I started paying attention.
Yeah, you were. And the next week against Dallas, we were worried about Turpin. Now, they did a better job in that game. How much is this on the players out there, or is it on Braden Mann, the kickoff guy?
I got to be honest. I got to put it on Michael Clay because what is the strategy going into this game? Like sometimes the coaches want to land the ball short, landing in that landing zone because they think they have an advantage from a coverage standpoint.
I don't think today's one of those days.
Exactly. Yes, exactly.
Kick that thing out of the end
Yes,
zone.
I would be just kicking it out of the end zone. But again, I don't understand why Jake Elliott is not kicking off and kicking the ball out of the end zone.
Does anyone know why they changed?
So what they say is it's situational. Like Jake Elliott kicked it better to the left. So I think they're lying. I think they're just trying to conserve Jake Elliott's leg, to be completely honest.
Is that what it is?
I think so. He's always kicked off in his career, and he's not this year. It's not like all of a sudden he became right. And for what it's worth, it coincides with him struggling. So, but I'm curious, Ike, for your perspective, because one of the best special teams players in franchise history.
Or the best.
Yeah, the best. It's exactly right.
Talk to your boy, Hugh.
What do you think about putting starting players out on the special teams unit this late into the season?
Get their ass out there, man. Listen, when we had the best special teams units, Dalk played special teams.
Okay.
Hugh didn't because he was a prima donna. But I'm saying most of the skill position guys, they played one phase. Like Harbaugh would have Troy Vincent, Bobby Taylor, they would either do punt return or either kickoff coverage, and they would be the safety guys. Now, don't get me wrong. They weren't in the middle of the fray, right? They let me handle that. But it was something to having Brian Dawkins as the wing guy on the punt team. So to your point, having starters out there
that haven't done it all year, that would be
yeah.
yeah.
But here's the thing, though. Special teams is not the same as it was
true.
when I played. I don't need to go down memory lane, right? Waxing poetically about how great special teams used to be.
Back when men were men.
Yes, back when men were men.
Back in my day, Reese.
Back when you needed a neck roll to play special teams. Yeah.
I will say this. On the punt team and the punt return team, it is pretty much the same.
Yeah.
As it's always been. So, yeah. I'm okay with having guys out there, but they're not going to be out there as the gunners or anything. That's for Sidney Brown.
Keely Ringo's been really good this year on special teams.
Yep.
And I mean,
Jeremiah, like our young linebackers need to be guys that are down there doing it.
I think special teams will be huge today in deciding this game.
Hugh, from a defensive perspective, how much of a difference is it if the special teams pins them back? You know, I always feel like
they're like Jack Fritz. I'm spitting everywhere.
I feel like Hugh, if you're a defender and the other team has the ball on the 20 or the 15, they're pinned back a little bit. If you let them get the ball in the 35-40, it's like they're halfway to scoring already.
Yeah, especially when you talk about a team like the Green Bay Packers today. I think their biggest asset going into this game that they feel if they get going is going to be that running game with Josh Jacobs. He's the biggest weapon that they have. So if you give them a long field to play with, I don't think they have enough firepower to move the ball down the field methodically on this Eagles defense. But to your point, if they're getting the ball on the 40 to 50, they only need a couple plays to get into the end zone.
That was the Commanders game. And the whole second half, the ball's in the 42. It's like Daniels made 2 plays, and they're in scoring position.
Let me tell you this. Hold on. Let me tell you something, bro. I don't ever want to do another pregame show like this again. Hugh Douglas.
What are you talking about?
I don't. Where you at? Are you here with me?
I'm here.
No, I don't like what I'm feeling.
He's in playoff mode, is what he's saying.
I don't like playoff mode.
All right, Eliot. Number 3.
Number 3, tackling. So week 1 in Brazil, they missed 9 tackles. It was one of their highest totals of the year. If you remember, Jaden Reed had a big touchdown because of missed tackles. In the other game they lost this year against Washington, they missed a lot of tackles. So this Packers offense can't make big plays without Christian Watson. They're going to have to get short yardage and turn it into big plays. So Josh Jacobs is key number 1 for me when it comes to tackling. Nakobe Dean. Make sure if he gets through that line of scrimmage, a 4-yard run doesn't turn into a 9-yard run. Zach Bond, the all-pro linebacker. Go out there, deliver a big hit over the middle so they don't come over the middle anymore. Tackling will be key today. If they tackle well, the Packers won't be able to get over 25 points.
I agree with that. I mean, Hugh just said it, that they don't have their deep drive. They don't have Christian Watson, right? I don't think the Packers, without missed tackles or mistakes by the Eagles defense, leaving someone wide open, I don't think they have the firepower right now, and it's about tackling because they have some good players. Obviously, Josh Jacobs is a tremendous running back, and Jaden Reed, he reminds me a little bit the way the 49ers would use Debo when he was young. He runs the ball, too. They get him the ball in a whole
He's a better receiver, though, I think.
He's really good. Now, he's a good player. I mean, he killed the Eagles week 1, but they just have to tackle when he's in space.
Yeah, shout out to the Spartan dog, Jaden Reed. I'm just saying, don't have a great game today. I just had to get it out there.
Yeah, of course.
You know, I love my guys. I'll say this. You know, taking last week off, right, when we rested our guys, it was all about getting the guys fresh for the playoff run. So that's what we did. I expect to see the best version of the Philadelphia Eagles today.
There we go.
And the best version of the Eagles, the Green Bay Packers, at their best, aren't good enough. They just aren't good enough. So the only way the Packers really have a chance to win this game is if we play a lesser version of us as a football team.
Yep.
Like, I mean, that's really what it boils down to. That's how good this Eagles team is. It's not about being overconfident. It's about being really assured of what we've been watching all year. We've been watching a dominant football team all year long. We've been waiting to get to this moment, the postseason, for the postseason run. It starts today against the Green Bay Packers, and we play our game. We're beating this team by double digits.
There we go.
I'm telling you, we're beating this team by double digits.
And you know what? Off of the tackling point you made, Eliot, I trust Vic Fangio to get these guys ready. You know, we always talk in these big games about, the mind of Sean McVay or Kyle Shanahan. We have that. It's just on the other side. I mean, Vic Fangio's resume says he's one of the greatest defensive minds ever. And look what he's done with a defense.
With the job, what he did with this defense. My
we
goodness.
all would have said middle of the pack would be fine.
And would have been thankful for it.
And he took them from maybe the worst defense in the league last year to the best. It's an incredible job.
And LaFleur said that Vic Fangio is the toughest coordinator he's coached against in his career. So the Packers already know what they're getting into. I'd be really surprised if there's a lot of schematic breakdowns from the Eagles today. The way the Packers will score is with missed tackles. So if they just tackle, Ike's right. This could be a statement performance from the Eagles today.
All right, let me ask Ike and Hugh here one thing, because there's one element of this that we're not sure of, how the young players are going to play on the biggest stage. Is it any different, Hugh, your first playoff game? Let's go to Quinyon Mitchell, Cooper DeJean. Hugh, is it different the first time? Like, what's the energy like your first playoff game?
Well, I'll tell you what, I think the biggest thing and the biggest asset that we have is you got so many guys that are veteran guys that have been through the playoffs. So when you talk to the young guys, you're going to tell them, the butterflies, that's normal. The fact that you feel tired in the first couple of series, that's normal. Just play through that. And I'll tell you the one thing that I do remember about the playoffs that sticks out to me vividly today is the physicality of the game. It's a physical confrontation. This game is not going to be like a regular season game. And I equated to over the years, you've seen a lot of teams during the course of the season, the regular season, they throw the ball up and down the field. You saw a little bit of that yesterday. They run the ball, and they're going to run it down your throat. We all know what's going to happen. When you talk about Derrick Henry, 180 yards yesterday or something like that? That is the difference in the playoffs, is that the teams that have the strongest running games are going to lean on that running game because everybody at this point of the season, they're banged up. Like you're functional, but you're banged up. Who wants it the most? That's what the playoffs are all about. Who wants to get to Louisiana the most? And that's what it's going to come down to.
There we go.
Get on the bus.
Let me tell you this. Let me tell you this. And this ain't pandering, but what the hell? I get my Bryce Harper hat on right now.
There we go.
There's something about playing home playoff games. And this is where, I'm being honest, this is where this crowd gets to show off and put their imprint and impact on the game. And what you saw yesterday was, you saw in Houston, the home team dominated that game. The Chargers weren't ready. I watched last night, Baltimore, that crowd, the Steelers weren't ready. The Packers ain't ready for what's about to happen right now at 4:30. There's something about playing in front of this crowd for playoff games that's electrifying. And these players, they haven't experienced it in a couple years. And for the new guys on the team, they're about to get the feeling of what it's like to play a home playoff game here, man. This is like no other, man. No other.
I wish you could have seen the smile. Here we go. I wish you could have seen the smile on A.J. Brown's face earlier this week when he was asked about playing home playoff games. He said it's so loud you can't even hear yourself think out there. So I agree the Packers aren't ready. You talk about
I see you, dog. I see you. I'm going to get you when I get done, okay? I saw you the first 5 times you did it. I got you. Relax.
Cooper DeJean, a key player today, obviously a young guy. But talk about the physical nature of this defense. When Cooper DeJean went in, that's when this defense became one of the best in the league. You remember that hit he had on Derrick Henry?
Oh, yeah, of course.
That was a tone setter. Now, who's going to be up against Jaden Reed today? Their best offensive player besides Josh Jacobs? That's going to be Cooper DeJean. So Cooper today is going to have a huge impact on how this game goes. And I think based off how he's played this year, everybody should have a lot of confidence in how he'll play.
Well, look, if Cooper DeJean plays well on Jaden Reed, the Packers are done. I don't think they can move the ball through the air. If Reed is taken out of the game, Ike, by Cooper, they don't have Christian Watson. I think they're in big trouble. The Eagles have a chance today to squeeze them down, and then I think Love's going to make a mistake or two, and away we go. And then this crowd's going to get look, I know the Packers are good, but there's an element to them. I believe if the Eagles jump on them, I think they're going to tap out. I think this could be like the Tampa game last year for the Eagles, but the other way. Yeah. If the Eagles could jump on them, I think they're going to tap out.
Yeah, this ain't going to Dallas like they did last year.
No, this is a real home field advantage.
This is a real home field advantage. And the matchup between Vic Fangio and Matt LaFleur as to where they deploy Jaden Reed will be interesting. Because I don't know if Cooper can just shut him down one-on-one.
Agreed.
But it's how you put the scheme in to know where number 11 is at. and try to devise against that. Because quite frankly, when you look at, I don't even know, is Romeo Doubs playing?
Romeo Doubs and Dontavion Wicks will be their outside receivers.
Okay.
Good players, but nothing that Quinyon and Slay can't handle.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
And you saw Quinyon Mitchell in that first game against Christian Watson.
Yep.
So I'm going to watch the chess match between Matt LaFleur and Vic Fangio here, because I really believe that's where the game is going to be won at. I'm excited about what I believe is going to be one of the better defensive performances from this Eagles defense all year. We're talking about the number one ranked defense coming into the playoffs. Number one ranked defense, Hugh.
Well, you think about in 2022 when the Eagles went on that Super Bowl run. I know people weren't big Gannon fans, but they did have they had the number one ranked defense. And what did that defense do in the playoffs up until the Super Bowl? What did they give up? 7 points in that playoff run or something like that? So I agree. The tone setter today is in the middle of the field. It's the Eagles' defensive line getting after Jordan Love, and it's the Eagles' offensive line pushing that Packers defensive line back and running the ball. If they win the middle of the field, the perimeter part, the Eagles have the skill to do that. But if they bully them in the middle, which I think they will, you're right, Joe. This Packers team, they're good, they're not great, and they don't win against great teams. The Eagles are a great team, and so if they play their game today, they'll win.
Starts with Jordan Davis and Jalen Carter up front. They stopped the run up front against Josh Jacobs. We should have a good day today.
Yeah, and those linebackers make the tackles. I mean, look, we should have confidence. We have two really good linebackers. One is an all-pro. And it's funny, this year started with Zach Bond, like, getting on our radar. Wow, with that crazy game he had. Do it again. I mean, I think Zach Bond could have a huge day today.
And Zach Bond's a better player now than he was in week 1 when they last played the Packers. He has way more reps at the position, so he could have a huge game today.
Well, if he does, we're going to be in good shape. All right, coming up on the other side, we will get you ready for kickoff, our predictions, X factors for the game. This is the Eagles Radio Network, presented by PNC Bank. Brilliantly boring since 1865 on 94 WIP.
Eagles fans, Merrill Reese here to talk about my friends at NovaCare Rehabilitation. Are you dealing with ongoing aches and pains? The physical therapist at NovaCare will help keep you active and doing the things you love. They have more than 200 convenient locations throughout the Delaware Valley and South Jersey. Visit NovaCare.com to schedule an appointment today. NovaCare is the official physical therapy provider to the Philadelphia Eagles. The Eagles trust NovaCare, so can you. Experience the power of physical therapy.
It's happening again. Those missed tackles are starting to stack up. Your friends pleading with players who can't hear them, sweating it out week after week. But not you. Why? Because whether they score or not, there's always another way to win on the BetParx Casino app. New casino users score up to $1,000 bonus back in their first 24 hours. Gambling problem? Call 800-GAMBLER. Must be 21 plus. Located in Pennsylvania, New Jersey, Michigan. New users only. Terms and conditions apply. See website for details. Casino bonus must be wagered.
Kick off game day the right way this season with Hers, the snack that's rooted in Philly. They've been a hometown favorite for nearly 8 decades and counting. So when you say their first team all flavor, you can taste it. Hers runs a deep roster of unbelievable flavors like zesty, sour cream and onion, sweet and smoky honey barbecue, and slightly spicy jalapeno kettle chips. So next Birds game, you can't help but go for 2. Bags, that is. Hers, rooted in flavor. Hey, Eagles fans, this is Eagles All-Pro wide receiver Mike Quick. Phones weren't made to be broken, but life happens. So when you break your phone, Verizon and Philly's got you. Trade in any phone for one of their top brands in any condition. Guaranteed, and get a great deal on one of their best 5G phones with unlimited ultimate. Switch now and save. Available at any Philly area Verizon store.
The Nissan Rogue with available Google built-in helps you make the most of your drive. Take care of the small stuff, like,
hey Google, cool down my car.
And,
hey Google, turn on the dog feeder.
or change up your adventure.
Hey Google, navigate me to the nearest music venue.
Handle your drive like a pro.
Experience the ultimate connection in the new 2024 Nissan Rogue. Now get 0% APR financing for 60 months on Rogue. Visit your local Nissan store and nissanusa.com today. Not equipped on all vehicles. Requires compatible device sequence, assured and simulated activation of Nissan Connect services package required. Only use features when safe and legal to do so. Data rates may apply. Subject to third-party service availability. Google, Google Play, and Google Maps are trademarks of Google LLC. For well-qualified buyers, 0% APR financing for 60 months on new 2024 Rogue and dealer stock. Example, 0 down payment, 16 months financing at $1,667 per month per $1,000 financed. Actual down payment may vary. Subject to NMAC credit approval. Not all buyers qualify. Dealer contribution may affect actual price set by dealer. Contact dealer for details. Ends 2/3/25.
We are all quarterbacks of our financial future, and we have to be boldly committed to the process. It begins with a game plan, preparing yourself for success on and off the field. Not just thinking about short-term wins, but long-term goals. And the best part about winning is winning as one. Build your tomorrow with Lincoln Financial.
Lincoln Financial is the marketing name for Lincoln National Corporation and affiliates, copyright 2024. Lincoln Financial is a sponsor of Jalen Hurts, who has received compensation.
Pennsylvanians are creating their own soundtrack. Thanks to PA Lottery Scratch-Offs, excitement's back. Pennies, nickels, dimes, or quarters, no matter your choice, scratching's always in order. With big top prizes and second chance drawings, thrills await. They're out there calling. If it's excitement you seek and you're looking for action, play the PA Lottery. And keep on scratching. Must be 18 or older. Please play responsibly. Benefits older Pennsylvanians every day.
It's Eagles playoff football, recapping the Birds and Packers tomorrow morning. Joe DeCamera, John Ritchie, 94 WIP.
You're listening to the Verizon Pregame Show on the Eagles Radio Network.
Welcome back to the Verizon Pregame Show. The Philadelphia Eagles, powered by Verizon, alongside Hugh Douglas, Eliot, Shorr-Parks, Ike Reese. I am Joe Giglio as we get set for kickoff here at 4:30. The Eagles and the Packers. All right, Hugh. So it's not quite final yet, but the Buffalo Bills 31, the Broncos 7. 2 minutes to go in the fourth quarter. So a blowout. The Bills are going to move on. That sets up Bills-Ravens next week. But you know what that is, Hugh? That's a 2 seed taking care of business against a 7 seed.
Yeah, you got to, man. If they're bad, beat them because they're bad. I thought Denver had more of a chance than this. I even went so far as to say that I thought that Denver was going to go in there for the upset, but Josh Allen, he's on one right now. And, man, that way to roll. Way to roll, Sean McDermott.
What's wild about that is Denver went up 7-0 in that game, Ellie. They were up to start the game, and that's 31-7 final. Wow. Buffalo.
So they didn't score much after that.
That was it.
Yeah, it kind of fell apart on
Just
them.
the one, yep.
Well, it's a difference, too, between Denver just happy to be there.
They're more your typical 7 seed.
That was going to be a tough
The Eagles are very much the Bills in that equation. They're not the Broncos, right?
Yes.
They're going into the playoffs trying to win it all. So I think for Denver, still a good year, but that's an ugly ending.
The Packers aren't the Broncos.
Well, no,
they're not. Yeah,
that's the issue, unfortunately, for the Eagles. That's why this game is supposed to be more competitive. Now, the line has moved up to 5.5. Still not as much as the 8.5, 9 in Denver.
But still, it's moved the Eagles' way all week. Yeah,
that's true. That's true.
Yeah. I mean, it struck me when I think it opened at 3.5, and now it's got to 5.5. I think some of that was uncertainty around injuries and quarterbacks and Love, and especially Hurts until he was cleared. I mean, Eliot, it's pretty clear that the people that make these think the Eagles are significant. 5.5 is a significant number.
Yeah, I was surprised how high that line was. But, to the Eagles' credit, this year when the Eagles have played their best football, they should be able to beat a team like the Packers by more than 5.5 points.
Yeah, you know what happened is that the smart money came in late on the Eagles. Like it started early on the Eagles and it kept piling on. So the Packers are a little bit undermanned. They're a dangerous team when everybody's overlooking you. You just have to make sure that the Eagles aren't overlooking the Packers.
All right, I think that is one of the things that makes the Packers a uniquely tough 7 seed. Is they do have postseason experience. A lot of these 7 seeds, like the Eagles, when they were the 7 seed in 2021, they were just happy to be there, right? They made the Packers entered this season with the expectation of going to the Super Bowl, and that is what makes this a unique matchup. The Packers have playoff experience, and they have expectations. Those are 2 things a 7 seed don't normally have.
All right, let's hit an X factor here, guys, that we have not spoken much about today. All right, so. An X factor.
The tailgaters are coming in.
That you can hear. You can hear. An X factor we haven't spoken much about today is the Eagles' pass rush.
Yes.
And I feel like as the weeks have gone on, it feels like they're missing Brandon Graham more than initially, right? Because they got through that first couple weeks and they won. So their sack totals, they had 36 the first 12 games as a team, which was 6th most in the NFL. That's pretty darn good, right? Since then, they just have 5 in the last 5 games. So they've gone now from averaging 3 a game to 1 a game. Now, I know last week was weird and it was backups playing. So maybe it's not a totally fair representation, but the numbers have gone down.
Yeah.
And what I'm noticing, it just feels like they have less depth there. It's just Josh Sweat. It's just Nolan Smith.
Whoa, Bryce Huff is back.
Well, I know Hugh Douglas wants to talk about that because, we've laughed at this, but they might need him now to give some snaps.
Oh, we do need him.
All right, Hugh, the floor is yours. It's time for your guy to help out starting today.
Oh, no question about it. I think, finally, man, listen. Man, been here this damn long. Come on, you got to at least give us 2 sacks.
There we go.
2 sack day
There's
won't
the
hurt
personality I was waiting
You
for.
putting $3 on it today?
$3 whole.
$3 whole.
Three, that's big for a Hugh bet. Yeah. So are you concerned about the pass rush, Ike?
A little bit. Just a little bit. You know what? Only because we're not a real high blitzing team. Fangio likes to get after the quarterback with his guys up front and play a little bit more coverage on the back end. You know what, though? Today, I wouldn't be surprised if he mixed in a little bit of 5-man pressures. Only because you don't want to allow Jordan Love to be comfortable back there.
And he doesn't take many sacks. So
Exactly.
Yep.
So you want to either kind of speed up his process, see where their arm strength is. So we may throw a couple of linebacker blitzes where you send Nakobe or Zach Bond after Jordan Love because you don't have to worry about him running. So, if you can send that extra guy there, I think you got a chance of getting him on the ground.
See, great defensive line minds thinking alike, Ike, because in week 1, Vic Fangio blitzed more in that game than I think he has any other game this week. So there is something Fangio likes. I know it's early in the year, but there's something he liked about blitzing the Packers. Yeah. And I think part of it is Jordan Love does not handle pressure well. He doesn't get sacked, but he throws off his back foot all the time. Yep. So when you talk about the pass rush, there we go. Look, the crowd's getting ready. It's gonna be
they're ready.
It's going to be a wild atmosphere. Oh!
Let's go!
Yes, here we go. Now it's feeling like a playoff.
The Packers are cooked. There's no way they're ready for this.
Also, I give Eagles fans credit. They did not sell their tickets. There are not a lot of Packers fans here today. I thought there might be. There are not a lot of Packers fans here. Yeah. But the Packers don't have good – back to football. The Packers don't – they don't have good offensive they do have good offensive tackles. They don't have a good middle of the line. Jalen Carter and Milton Williams today. Jordan Davis can't rush the passer. Milton Williams, I think, could have a big game today. Getting pressure up the middle will be huge.
Eagles!
I think from now on, the last segment is just Eagles chants from the crowd. We just do that
Next
head again.
10 minutes, yeah.
All right, guys. So we've talked about a lot of different angles. How about we each give an X Factor player? Maybe a guy that we haven't spoken much about, a name that you think tomorrow on WIP we're either going to get callers or we're going to say his name. Ike Reese, give me a name today. Give me an X Factor name.
I'm going with Eagles linebacker All-Pro Zach Bond today.
There we go.
I think 5'3" is out there. He's making plays in the passing game, but more importantly, he's making plays in the running game. I'd be surprised if Zach Bond has anything less than 12 tackles today.
Woo! I like that. All right, Hugh Douglas, give me an X Factor.
Bryce Huff. I'm going with double zero. I'm going to go with 0 today.
Today's the
I'm
day.
down this hill, and that's the one I'm going to go with. I think Bryce Huff is going to be the X Factor today.
You know what? Better late than never. If he gets a sack today, better late than never.
We'll love him.
Everyone will love him tomorrow. Eliot, who you got? X Factor.
This is a Chauncey Gardner-Johnson game.
Like
this
that.
is a tough
we're
game
all going
in a
defense.
physical game.
I like
And Jordan Love, when he does turn it over, it sails on him over the middle. Chauncey's great at making plays on the football when he gets a chance. I think Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, interception today.
All right, I'm going to go with Cooper DeJean. He wasn't in the first
Another
matchup.
defensive guy.
They're going to win the game 7-3.
Yeah. Old school foot. No, they're going to throw the ball to Jaden Reed. He's their number one target today. I could see Jordan Love target him 10 times. Cooper DeJean's going to make a play, whether it's a big tackle to stop a first down or maybe he gets a turnover. I feel like Cooper DeJean's going to make a big play, his first playoff game here in Philadelphia today at 4:30 kickoff. All right, Ike, you were speaking about it earlier. What's it like running out there in front of this home crowd? What is it like a playoff game in front of the home crowd in Philadelphia? What do you think they're feeling right now, especially some of the younger guys?
So the game that I'll always remember, Hugh, I wonder if you probably remember this night as well, is the 2000 game against Tampa. Saturday night, Hugh had a couple big sacks in that game. Sean King fumbled the ball.
Was that the first playoff game?
Yep.
Yeah.
It was New Year's Eve, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was New Year's Eve. And I'll never forget what the vet was like that night. I mean, it had been a few years since we had made the playoffs. It was the first playoff trip under Andy Reid in this new regime. And on Saturday night, I mean, Tampa had no chance. Tampa had no chance to win that game. The crowd was electrifying. It felt like you walked into your funeral if you weren't wearing green and white that night. Like, that's what it was like. And that's what I feel like with this game. Like, we didn't get a chance to play in the postseason last year, so we haven't had a home playoff game since the NFC Championship game against the 49ers. And we all remember what that was like.
Talk about a funeral. That pregame,
exactly.
I mean, the Vikings players still talk about how they knew in that pregame they had no shot to win that game based off the crowd.
So, yeah, I feel like this crowd wants its opportunity to be on the national stage, and we get it tonight. And there's no crowd like a Philadelphia home crowd, man.
There
Come
is
on,
not.
man.
There is
Come
not.
on, man.
Home
Come on,
playoff
man.
game crowd.
Get my neck roll!
Oh, here we go. Hugh, take me back. What is it like playing in front of this crowd in a playoff game?
The one that I remember is the one we actually clinched and went to the Super Bowl, man. And I just remember it was cold as hell outside. Well, hell's not cold, but you get what I'm saying. It was really cold. And I just remember being in the city when we clinched and just being around. It was electric, man. Nothing felt like that last playoff game. This is a great place to play. This area is phenomenal football area. And I remember in that game, it was freezing outside. And I remember going to eat at the steakhouse off of Broad Street. I can't remember the name of it.
Capitol Grill.
Yeah, that's what it was. And I just remember people outside with no coats on. And I'm talking about it was freezing. And they were up and down the street yelling and screaming about the Eagles going to the Super Bowl. That's what I remember.
I mean, if you think about it, and Ike brought this up, this team hasn't had a home playoff game in almost 2 years, right? 2 calendar years. I've sensed this week these fans have been waiting for a moment like this. This is like Red October, only a more intense version because it's Eagles fans, right? So I think it's going to be insane in there.
You know what? Maybe it'll sound like this. We were able to dig up the clip, the one Ike was talking about, the one where Hugh Douglas sacks Sean King.
Yeah.
Let's listen to this and listen to the roar of the crowd on this play.
King drops the throw. And is hit just as he let the ball go, or did he let it go? This might be the Eagles' ball. I think it is.
I'll tell you, Hugh Douglas came from that backside and really unloaded on Sean King. George Hegeman is number 78. He's pointing the other way, hoping it is that ball.
It's the Philadelphia Eagles' ball.
That was his man.
What a moment.
That's my dog.
I don't know what it was. Maybe it was just that night. Maybe it was that team. Maybe it was that stadium. That crowd sounds so loud in that clip.
It was the new beginning is what it was. Yeah. It was like, because I don't know how many people actually believed in the Ray Rhodes era. And so after our first year with Andy, to do what we did that year and have a home playoff game, man, it was crazy, man. I remember that, man. I just remember winning that game and what that feeling was like in the locker room to go from an organization that was viewed as being a losing organization to feeling like this was just the beginning of something special. And that's what I feel like with these guys. I know they went to the Super Bowl a couple years ago, but there's something about with number 26 on the squad now. It's a whole new regime right now.
Well, nothing fuels a crowd like hope. And think about where we were with this team at the beginning of the year. Is Jalen the answer? Is Nick the answer? You're coming off the collapse. This team has earned the trust of the fans, and you can hear it from out here. This team knows they have a chance to win the Super Bowl. This isn't a tense crowd. They're not nervous. This is the excitement of a run that they feel is about to begin, and that's why the crowd's so great, and that's why when you bring up those early playoff wins by you guys, we knew it was the beginning of something. Tonight's the beginning of something.
Yeah, that, Eliot, you're right about that. I don't sense nerves out there. Hugh, I feel like a lot of people are really, and it's not, I don't think it's cockiness. I think there's a confidence about this football team.
No, this is a good football team, man. No question about that. And everything that we've said over the last couple of weeks is not so much what the Green Bay Packers are going to do. It's about what the Eagles, if they don't do what they're supposed to do, how they're going to give the Packers a chance to win.
Agreed.
That's why I said I agree. I said it last week. If Jalen did not get out of concussion protocol, I still felt good about the outcome of this football game.
Yep.
Well, that shows you how good of a team it is that we could talk about that. By the way, Eliot, you did mention to me Tanner McKee is the third quarterback today.
Yeah, so Kenny Pickett will be the backup quarterback today. Yeah,
well, that's important. I mean, look, hopefully we don't get there, but obviously
same quarterback depth chart they've had all year.
Yeah, so. And I expected that. I know Tanner played well last week. Got people excited, but I think it's the right decision. Kenny Pickett has 25 starts in the NFL and played well when he played so far this year. I'm good with that.
This Eagles team is going into the playoffs extremely healthy. Brandon Graham's the only one they're missing, and I think Brandon's playing in the Super Bowl when they get there. So they are a healthy team for sure.
Well, I like to hear
down,
that.
Eliot.
I think he will. There's no shot he's missing the Super Bowl.
Well, every time he's on the morning show, he kind of alludes to the idea that he's not done.
Yeah, it's a tricep injury. He'll get out there.
All right, there it is. All right, now it's time for our predictions on this one. I think you know where we're going, but let's go through it. Our predictions, how does it play out today? Eliot, Shorr-Parks, start us off.
Yeah, this is the beginning of a run. The Eagles have a better quarterback, a better head coach, a better offense, a better defense. And yes, they have better special teams. I still trust Jake Elliott. I think they win the game today, 27-24 on a Jake Elliott game-winning field goal.
Oh, my goodness. I'm
on a Jake Elliott game-winning field goal.
All right, Hugh Douglas, what are you thinking? Eagles, Packers, how does it play out this afternoon?
You know what? I still think Jalen probably gets off to a slow start. I think it's going to take a while for this offense to get going. But I feel like the Eagles are going to roll in this one, so I'm giving the Eagles the win, 27-14 Eagles.
27-14 Eagles. All right, Ike Reese, I'm going to save you for last. But here's what I'm thinking today. And when the week started, I was nervous. I was like, man, the Packers are good. That's not really what I wanted to face. And then the more I thought about it, they're without their best corner. They're without their top receiver. They're coming off a game. They tried to beat the Bears last week, and they lost. If you try to beat the Bears and you lose, you suck. They're not very good right now.
Simply put.
And I watched their post game last week, and I watched their coach go to the podium and say, I lost the game. And I watched Xavier McKinney say, we have to fix everything before a playoff game. And you know what I thought about? I thought about last year's Eagles. And we tried to pretend they were going to be fine, but something was off heading into the postseason. I think the Packers are good, but I also think there's a chance that if the Eagles get up on them, they're going to roll over. I think Jordan Love's going to throw a couple interceptions. I think the Eagles are going to run them out of the building. Eagles 30, Packers 13.
Wow.
They're going to blow them out today. Eagles win this game, and we're here next Sunday afternoon.
That's what I love.
Ike Reese, what do you got? Bring them
man,
on.
listen, I'm loving this team. I've been waiting for this game today. Yes, baby, I love you too.
There we go.
That's what I'm talking about. Listen, you know what we've been doing all year. We've been going to Pound Town all year. We going to Pound Town today. Saquon Barkley going to debut today. Defense, we getting 2 turnovers and 4 sacks. Eagles winning this game, 27-17. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go.
All right, we'll see you guys right here now.